For the final time, what will probably be the final time, welcome back to the Fatal 12. It looks like we have got everything. We have done the ending. We've got the bad endings, basically. We got the bad ending where Parka lives on in Rinka's body for all of a week before she gets crushed. I'm not sure what's up with that. We got the ending where Rinka overpowers that. And actually, no, overpowering that is what led to the more positive endings. We got the ending where she brings everyone back and the ending where she doesn't, which are the two good endings we've got right now. We've got the ending where she gets voted out by scale and her grand dies, and who knows who wins that one. We've got the ending where Federico, of all people, wins because Maharu votes out Rinka, which is the damnedest thing. And we got the ending where Rinka was willing to sacrifice herself to bring Naomi back, and thus Maharu was the survivor. But that's it for this. Apparently the only ending we're missing is the true one, which seems like a good one to end off on. So what happens here? Let's just get into it. We got questions. And I decided to end off here because this is the problem. My priority is your survival. As for my own, I'm still not too sure. That's why the two times now, the two endings that we've gotten, or technically I guess the three endings that we've gotten, have been mostly facilitated by Maharu pulling a fast one and saying that she's going to defend herself from us and then choosing not to. So I have a feeling that if we withhold an answer, things are going to be different, because if she doesn't have an answer, she doesn't want to die yet. So she knows the answer I'm hoping for. Yeah, that's the answer. This confused me the first time I read it. This is the answer we wanted from Maharu. I've changed my mind. Let's look for a way to survive together. That's not the answer we got, but it might be the answer we're able to facilitate. But she's still the same person we've always known. Well then, ikimasu. Here I go then. My nerves get the better of me once it's time to answer. I can feel my heart ready to explode. Maharu's face may be even more flushed than mine. Even I'm beginning to wonder how I remained so calm until now. It's only natural to be nervous. This is no doubt something that'll change both our lives and hopefully let us get to the true ending. We are going to do the one thing we haven't done yet, which is put it off for now. Turns out procrastination was always the right answer. Who knew? I can't give you an answer yet. Excuse me? Maharu's eyes open wide before she freezes up completely. You'll no doubt be satisfied regardless of what answer I give you. Oh, this is the strategy. On the other hand, putting it off means you'll want to survive to hear it, right? Yeah, we learned this the hard way, but it turns out Rinka's on the ball. I promise I'll give you an answer then. So please, let me keep that promise. Oh, yeah, Maharu. Rinka's being a little more manipulative now. She's like, you know what? I saw the playthrough. I know what's going to happen. You need to defend yourself, or I'm not giving you an answer. That's the deal. That's cheating, you know. You're trying to sound cool, but you just haven't decided yet, have you? I can't deny that. I can't bring myself to think things through until we've found a way to survive together. You're just that important to me. You even got Mao to help you out so you could get an answer from me before the next election. Wait a minute. You even got Mao to help you out. Is she referring to what she's got Mao to do, either by talking with her, or is she talking about what Mao's going to do tomorrow? Because we're starting to show some alternate timeline knowledge here, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. With that done, you'd let me elect you. You even lied about seeing what would happen if we can't elect one another. Yeah, that's the thing. She said that, so why were we surprised when she didn't defend herself? She pulls her eyes away from me. I know this is the truth, after asking how she felt earlier. Yeah, I mean, she told us straight up. I'm not convinced. I literally started this video on that line of dialogue because I knew it was important. Her love for me means she'll do whatever she can to make sure I survive. Sorry, but there's no way I'd forgive you if you let yourself die. Man, she's already... Yeah, I guess this is going to force her to protect herself. Because we're just laying it out and just being like, no, I ain't giving you that out. So you do hate me now? Of course not. How about you? Do you hate me Do you hate me after having to deal with how indecisive I am? Honestly, I expected this response the moment you posed your little question. Huh? Having said that, no. There's not a single thing that could make me come to hate you, especially not when I love to see you squirm like this. Oh boy, she's making me all hot and bothered again. No need to be so blunt. Anyway, I feel kind of bad since it sounds like we're negotiating, but I'll absolutely give you a proper answer once Divine Selection's over. Until then, let's find a way to survive together. Well, I mean, we know this is probably the right call, because we have unfair knowledge of alternate timelines. Alright, you've really changed, haven't you? I'd come back to haunt you if I died now, so I guess it's time to swallow my pride. I'm not the only one who's changed. Maharu just changed a bit right now. Let me ask you, though. You're not just putting it off, right? Can I take this to mean I actually have a chance? Yes. I can't say it for sure since I've never been in love before, but it could easily swing either direction. Sorry for sounding so smug, despite not giving you a proper answer. Don't worry about it. I just wanted to settle this, regardless of the outcome. In that regard, it's nice to know I'm not chasing shadows. She brushes her hand through her hair before smiling. The light from Tokyo Tower reflects off her. She's so cute. Not only that, but she's smart and capable as well. She can be a bit mean sometimes, but she's always thinking of her friends. She makes it seem like life's so easy, but in reality, she works hard to make it so. It's tough to take all that into consideration and tell her she has no chance. If I'm being honest, I'm still not too sure. I really am the worst. Anyone else would have ditched me by now. Following that, we make our way back home. We have to walk back to the station together, but that's fine. Being together doesn't feel awkward tonight. I get ready for bed once more. It's Friday. Way too much has happened today. So it is a couple of days before Divine Selection again. Maharu, you better defend yourself. There's an achievement for reaching week 12 and we still haven't done it. This is the only way to get there, is if you actually do what you say you're going to do. First I finished my finals, then Mao dragged us all out, and then I had to finally give Maharu an answer. Well, technically I didn't, but we reached a conclusion for now at least. I really should sleep for now. The store will be open for the first time in a while tomorrow, so I need to get up early. There's a lot to be done. I messaged my gran as well, so that's all that's left for me is to shut my eyes. Leth! It's fortunate that the next election isn't the last. Finally. We'll still have a week to work things out if nothing comes from this one. Read your diary! As much as I want to finish the diary. No, do it! I better get off getting some rest. Read the diary, read the diary, read the diary. Leth, tell her to read the diary. Morning already? I drag myself out of bed and stretch. I'm opening up the store for the first time in a while today. There are a lot of preparations to make, so the store is only going to be open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Once ready to face the day, I make my way downstairs. Phew! Well, when we said no, it was Mao. When we said yes, it was Maharu. Who's it going to be today? I sit down for a breather after the day's work is done, so just nobody? Can we please read our diary in peace? Shifting back into work mode is a pretty exhausting process after spending so many days with my head in the books. At least working here really is fun. Plenty of regulars stop in since it's Saturday, too. It isn't busy in the afternoon thanks to the limited food menu, but it gets pretty packed toward the evening. Easily the busiest day since I first took over the store. The door chime rings while I'm relaxing. It's a customer I'm oh so familiar with. I mean, how many could it be? Okay, it is. I was wondering, so it's Mao on one path, Maharu on the other path, now it's Naomi. Oh, have you closed for the day? Hey, come on in. No need to worry about store hours when you're a friend. Sorry. I have Naomi take a seat at our usual table and head into the kitchen to brew us some coffee. Once it's ready, I sit down with her. Here you go, on the house. Thank you. You seem awfully cheery today. You think? Yeah, I guess it's because finals are over and I got to open the store back up. I brought some cookies today, if you'd like some. Thanks, I really like your cookies. I can tell they're the same ones that she brought once before. The bag's tight shut with a nice red ribbon. My favorite color. We spend some chatting while enjoying both our offerings. This game is in desperate need of a dialogue patch. It's got to be at least 24 errors we've seen. I like how Nomi's eyes kind of moved there. Do you mind if I ask what happened after we left last night? I explained what took place once Miharu and I were alone. Well, everything except what Miharu shared about her past. I skipped to the part where she asked for my answer to a confession and that I couldn't give her one just yet. Naomi acts strangely relieved over it, probably because I mentioned that Miharu came to the decision to survive as well. Have you finished reading that diary yet? No! No, she has not! Nope, been too busy with finals. Chances are I'll finish it tonight, though. Thank God Almighty. Okay, do you mind if I stop by tomorrow after closing time? I'll bring Miharu, too. Sounds fine. It's worth discussing, even if there's ultimately no valuable info in it. Not every day you get to read about the daily life of someone from a whole century ago. We've still got one more chance if nothing gets resolved during tomorrow's election, too. Approaching things with a level head seems like the best approach. Well, it sounds like maybe this next election will be spicier than I thought. If we get some info out of it, we can confront Parka with. Agreed. Also, do you think I could borrow the diary from you tomorrow? She's obviously shy about asking again. That's right. She's asked this before, hasn't she? Oh yeah, she went like almost buck wild when she saw it last time. I tell her it depends, and she responds with a smile. Come on, read the diary. If the past few weeks have told me anything, it's that I can focus better when reading at night. What's up? I set a cup of coffee down next to the diary and crack it open. Here we go. Leth, I need you to F off. Don't you try to distract me from this. Leth curls up at my feet. It gets pretty humid in July, so I guess the floor here is the coolest place for it to rest. I'll have no luck getting it move either. Rinka is slowly turning into a cave woman, so I bring it some milk before getting started. My great-great-grandmother is the one who wrote this diary. Her sister owned a cat named Leo, too. Yes, and Parka seemed to recognize it. I wonder if she wrote the diary in a similar environment. Coffee by her side, cat at her feet. This cat better have a scar on its foot. Makes me think about how, while the times may change, our actions never really do. It's kind of funny. The bookmark I'm using is shaped like a cat. Man, that cat motif keeps coming up. What are you going to learn? Here it comes. All right, we finished the diary. I finished both my second cup of coffee and the diary around the same time. What's up? Here we go. Kore wa nani? The shock of what I've just read even knocks out my taste buds. I'm immediately overcome with disbelief. Let's hear it. Yeah. Glad I arranged to meet with Miharu and Naomi tomorrow. I might have forgotten to do so after reading this knockout. I'm not over-exaggerating its shock value. Would you just stop teasing me, game? It's fortunate that I can talk to them about it before tomorrow's election. At the very least, it'll reduce the risk of me going wild all on my own. Unbelievable as this is, it's just what we need. As Miharu said, this could very well be our trump card. We might just be able to pick Divine Selection apart, thanks to this. I can feel my heart racing. Oh! After closing the diary, I remove the photos tucked between its final pages. Well, well, well. 3 in total. One of Linda, one of her with her family, and a third of her with another girl. Linda Harrison, my great-great-grandmother. That's who this diary belongs to, so it wasn't Diana. Diana was the sister. Seeing her picture isn't what grabbed my attention. It's the one with the other girl in it specifically. Show me that one. That girl is noted as Linda's sister. Oh, it is Diana. Diana's going to end up being Parka, isn't it? I didn't mention this at the beginning of the video, but I did look through our missing CGs. We're missing a lot. Like a lot. So here's one of them. But if this is a true ending, I mean, if we're finding out literally Parka's past here. The photo isn't high definition or anything, and it's turned sepia with age. But I know for a fact that it's Diana. She's the spitting image of Parka. Her clothes are more appropriate for the time of the picture, and her hair isn't as long as it is now in the dream world. Regardless, this isn't a case of passing resemblance. They're the exact same person. Every nerve in my body is telling me so. It's theoretically impossible for this to be true. But what's written at the end of the diary makes the impossible a reality. What's up? That's not all, though. What? My book is glowing? I somehow materialized a new card. Did we get a card? Number 13. Oh, whoa. Oh, show this to Parka. Don't even call her Parka. Just call her Diana. 13. Oh, we playing Fatal 13 now, boys. Diana Harrison. Do we get more cards? A 13th numeral that shouldn't exist. Which means she is a participant like I was joking before. It's the Goddess's card. I can't help but mutter it aloud. Maybe it's my way of forcing myself to accept the truth I've just uncovered. Oh, wait till Maharu gets a load of that. This is going to piss off Parka. She's going to flip her shit. Arigatou gozaimashita. Thank you for coming. Closing time arrives once I've rung out the last customer. It's a little early, only a bit past 4 p.m., but I've been open since 8. That's the norm when the store's open all through the weekend, really. Here we go. You're such a hard worker. She sure is. Maharu and Naomi had arrived a little bit earlier. They've been waiting for me to finish up for the day. Once done with my cleanup duties, I make my way over to our usual table. I hand them both a cup of coffee as thanks for coming. Oh, I'm sure Rinka can't wait to get into this. Also, Leth is listening in on this. Hey, there's our book on the table. I'm not sure if we've seen that before. I'm glad I got to see the two of you before tonight's election. That's the only way I can think to lead into this topic. Following that, I place the diary on the table and open it up. The photo is what I want to show them first. Korewa. Is this some kind of joke? That's Maharu's immediate reaction upon seeing it. Naomi seems puzzled, so I explain its significance to her. About how the girl in the photo is Diana Harrison, and her uncanny resemblance to Parka. Neither of them wear parkas. So she and Parka are the same person? I say nothing, but offer a reaffirming nod. That would explain why Parka gets to take over Rinka. I don't know what happened to her back then. I don't know why the original Divine Selection kicked off. But if there is a bloodline component, that would make sense. Now that they've seen that, it's time to show them the name card of numeral 13. Yeah, no kidding. The goddess has cards too. Can we vote Parka off? Number 1, who do you elect today? I elect number 13. The fuck? I wanted to use these to preface our discussion, but maybe I've served the entree before the appetizer, as it were. You could cut the tension with a butter knife. Well, we're definitely going to have some questions. We're not letting this be the last election, that's for sure. We're going to quiz the hell out of Parka, and she's going to either get mad or run or just answer questions because she doesn't care. What is her response going to be? And what are we going to do over the next week with this new information? First things first, this diary was written by my great-great-grandmother, Linda Harrison. Now feels like the right time to talk about the contents of the diary. Yeah, what else is in here? Beyond just this. Based on what I know, Diana died in a fire when she was 12. What is with shishimais and dying in fires? Like, could you stop? Linda wrote about her regret over this tragedy at the end of the diary. She regretted not being able to save Diana, despite her pleas for help. The main issue is the 11 weeks leading up to her death, though. Oh! How does this work? Maybe Parka is still the goddess, and she played 12 weeks up to Diana, and then Diana became the new host, and now we're in another 12-week cycle. Maybe 12 cycles ago before Linda, there was another Shishimai descendant, or ancestor, I should say, involved. The main issue is the 11 weeks leading up to her death, though. 11 weeks before Diana's death, a boy seeking to become her father's pupil fell down the stairs and died from trauma to the head. 11 weeks before Diana's death, I want to pay attention to this. So there was another death, maybe from someone else involved in that divine selection who fell down and died from trauma to the head. One of the assistants who had been to their home the week after soon died of food poisoning. Oh, what the hell? Did Parka kill them? Did Parka find some secret to eternal life and it involves killing off 11 people? The week after that, the mother of the boy who died 2 weeks prior died from a fever. Every week following that, someone with some sort of connection to Diana died. Kind of like divine selection has been going on. There wasn't any pattern behind who died. Some were close to her while others weren't. These events terrorized her family. It led them to a natural conclusion. She's a witch? That any one of them could be next. Their fears came true with the 12th victim, which was Diana. Yep. It's just as I mentioned before. The fire took not only their home, but also Diana's life. The destruction caused a bookcase to fall on her, crushing the lower half of her body. Linda was in the same room at the time and did all she could to save her. She just wasn't strong enough to move the bookcase. This was 100 years ago, so they lacked the same means to extinguish fires as we do today. Upon finding the two, their mother had to make an impossible decision. But to her, the answer was clear. Even with her aid, they couldn't get the bookcase to budge. Their father had passed out from smoke inhalation. The fire would likely consume Diana were they to stay and call for help, too. So their mother made the only decision she could. She had to save who she could. She chose to save Linda, at the expense of Diana. Linda viewed it as the wrong choice. She felt a responsibility to write about these events in the same diary she received from her beloved sister. Her feelings toward Diana are penned in detail. It's through them that the entire tale feels all the more tragic. So this book was actually made by Diana, aka Parka, but it was handmade for her sister, Linda. Years and years before as a birthday present. That's the most important thing I came across while reading. Things remained tense after I finished my explanation. So, what kicked that off? Was it another divine selection? Was it some weird ritual? It couldn't have been coincidence. And how did it start all this off? Understandably so. It's hard to remain composed when you realize the cute girl in the photo died not long after it was taken. Anyway, this is a sure bet to be our trump card. Yeah, Parker was originally human, and the sister of my great-great-grandmother, no less. I came to the same conclusion after listening to you, but it's still hard not to be surprised. We're all on the same page. 12 participants competing over a span of 12 weeks, so the events leading up to her death may have been the basis of divine selection. It could be a situation like if you've ever seen, especially in fiction, there's certain serial killers who follow patterns. The Trinity Killer in Dexter would have been a good example of this. So is Parker just doing this? This is her way of finding a new host to carry on. It just reflects the events that led up to her own death in the first place. Yeah, a tragedy through and through. There's a lingering sadness in Maharu's voice. I doubt she could feel anything else in the face of this revelation. See, this is why I was justified in screaming about the diary for 4 videos. So a human became a goddess? Part of me finds that hard to swallow. Yeah, there's some stuff we're missing here. Both the Court of Fate and Divine Selection exist, though. The rewritings of events and memories, too. We have to accept that the possibility exists based on what we know. This is just a theory on my part, but it doesn't seem like Parka has any memory of her time as a human. Well, maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. Really? That'd make sense. She sees us as nothing more than inferior beings. I mean, to be fair, she recognizes you, Rinka. We know that. In fact, she's been thirsting for that Shishamai bod. It doesn't feel like she's spitting at... It doesn't feel like she's spitting us because she... Oh, it doesn't feel like she's spiting us because she was once human either. Her role as a goddess is unquestionable to her. That's how I saw it before now, so I agree with Maharu's theory. All 3 of us start to ponder on our own. Let's come up with the other cards. Naomi eventually speaks up, suggesting that we've probably noticed what she's about to say. You should be able to elect Parka if you've materialized a card of hers, shouldn't you? Both myself and Maharu stare at Naomi in response. Our cards contain information that represent our past, present, and future. Most importantly, they allow us to elect and eliminate others. The fact that Parka has her own cards must mean that she can be elected as well. I had this little theory before that Parker was going to surprise elect someone else, but no, I was literally the opposite of correct. I wonder if even she realizes that she can be elected. There are too many unknown factors, though. I've got my card book with me, but a card hasn't materialized. Odd, considering I now know both her name and what she looks like. Does that mean Rinka's somehow special then? I mean, she would be by blood. I'm not too sure about that, but there must be a reason why. I've been wondering why Maharu's card book never reacted to the information I shared. I've been wondering something else, too. Something Naomi picks up on as well. The circumstances surrounding Diana's cause of death have been made clear, but Rinka hasn't obtained a card for it. That's also true. Based on the contents of the diary, her cause of death would either be from the fire itself or smoke inhalation. What if the reason Linda was guilty was because she pulled a U and actually killed Diana, or caused the fire, or did something extra? Maybe it is Linda. Maybe the cause of death will be some sort of murder. I wonder if that means that Linda killed everyone else, too. Again, what are the mechanics behind? Like, this is a weird situation. Linda didn't witness the moment Diana died, though. I think something might have happened after she was dragged away. Yeah, there you go. Leth! Leo! Is Leo the one responsible for all this? Maybe Leth can turn back into a effeminate dude in the real world and he just slit her through. I don't know why he would, considering she's about to die. But I bet, like, someone has to factor in somehow, and the only other person we know who was there was maybe Linda, or maybe it was Leth. There are plenty of possibilities then. Blood loss, the ceiling collapsing on and crushing her, and so on. It's shocking how calm we are while imagining events from 100 years ago. It's the only method we have to learn more about Parka, though. This is a possibility that's been right next to us since the beginning, and yet it's one we've only discovered at the last moment. Blame Leth! Blame Leth! Putting aside whether it's possible to elect her or not, we'd still need her regret. That's going to be the hardest part. There's no way we'll get an answer by asking her directly. Not like she'd even be able to if our theory about her not remembering her past is true. It'd be as hard as getting, Rinka's regret when she didn't know it. It's nothing but a theory, and yet it's one we have to base everything on. I want to believe that we're not following the wrong trail. I mean, this is the only ending left, guys. This gives me hope, though. Electing her has to be the way we both survive. I share your hope, but we can't be sure this is the only way yet. We'll need to test it out during the next election. Defend yourself, Maharu. Please, for the love of all that's holy. You want to see what happens when you can't elect one another, right? Is that what you're going to try? We can't now. It's entirely possible it could result in a situation where we need to settle things by means other than electing, which might result in us losing the ability to elect her. Ah, so they'll just say nope, nope? I mean, that'd be safer. Just not electing Maharu means she can't betray us. Isn't it dangerous to ask her about it, though? She can always prepare countermeasures if she knows what you're planning. That's true. Perhaps it might be best to do nothing this time around rather than rush things. If we can't figure anything out by the 12th election, then we can try it. Yeah, we can't let her know we have her card either. Oh, I really want to see her response, though. You're so close, though. Naomi's words hit close to home. I'm getting my hopes up. All that's left is to turn my hopes into a winning strategy. What would happen if we said we were electing number 13? Like, literally, we're going to go up to the upper stratum. Parka's going to appear opposite us. Our cards are going to come up, and Parka's going to be like, what the hell is going on? This isn't how this works. It's kind of ironic, though. They talk about fortune smiling on those with hope, but we're dealing with the goddess of fate here. So, can I borrow the diary then? I can tell she feels guilty asking, but she just can't suppress her curiosity. Naomi may discover something we don't notice, too. Sure. Just remember that it's my grand's. I need it back as is. Thank you! I'll treat it with the utmost care. Part of me is worried you'll embrace it so hard it'll crumble. Important and valuable to my grand as it is, I'm sure it'll be fine in Naomi's hands. It's a source of information, too. Naomi just might be able to pick up on something I missed. Yeah, exactly. If we're just going to fake Parka out and say, nope, nope, okay, bye, and this will be the quickest election ever, then this next week is going to be, it's literally going to be do or die time. We've only got one election left. And we're just going to have to put all our cards down. Once we finish that topic, we spend the rest of the day hanging out as normal. Both of them head home after dark. Seeing them talk to each other like friends, when I see them off, is a relief. Sunday? I can't hide my happiness, not even after getting back to my room. I never would have imagined this scenario at the beginning of Divine Selection. Not only is Maharu looking to survive now, but we've also found a possibly way for us to book... You know, game, I'm having enough trouble reading this thing and tripping over my own tongue every now and then without you intentionally putting down speed bumps. Not only is Maharu looking to survive now, but we've also found a possibly way for us both to make it through. Yeah. Parka, huh? It's basically confirmed that she used to be human. What happened during her dying moments then? Something must have caused her transformation. We're left with more questions than before, but it's also proof that we're making progress. I'll do this, no matter what. Having steeled my will once more, I dive into bed in preparation for tonight's election. I guess we can't risk asking questions if we don't want to tip our hand, so will this go quick? Will Parka maybe fish for info? That text went by quick, so we're back in Speedy Town with text we've already read. Of the 12 platforms present in the Court of Fate, only 2 remain that participants are actually standing on, Maharu's and my own. A strange sense of sadness pervades the endless dreamscape. As usual, Parka's voice cuts straight through those sensations. Good evening, my lovely little slaves to fate. Perhaps that's a little overdramatic when only 2 of you remain. Neither of us reacts to her comment, causing her to press on. Tonight serves as the penultimate round of divine selection. Which of you will shoulder the burden of those who fell before you and become my vessel, I wonder? Well, neither of you seems intent on rushing things along. This is rather sad, I must admit. We had quite the rowdy crowd this time compared to past selections. How many times has divine selection taken place by this point? I never did bother counting now that I think about it. Let's see, I believe this marks the 12th. Imagine that. So much for not counting. Last time we commented on how that didn't mean anything because we didn't know how long it had been. Now we do know how long it's been. Maharu sighs before speaking. There's special meaning behind this being the 12th time, though. I always figured that the 12 weeks and 12 participants was just due to 12 being a good round number. Like how a year is split into 12 months, a clock into 12 hours, and so on. It's a common phenomenon the world over. I've read this text at least 3 times now. The same can't be said after this revelation, though. It's too big of a coincidence for the number 12 to recur this much. Then again, I'm not sure if 12 is a lot in this case, since I don't know how much time passes between each selection period. Well, we could probably take a stab at it now. Pardon me, I shouldn't indulge myself in too much chit-chat. Now that I think about it, something doesn't add up. Parka's always mindful of time passing in this procedure. 3rd time I've had to read that damn grammatical error. She never just lets the participants talk till they're blue in the face. She always forces things forward eventually. Why would she do that if this place is supposedly cut off from the normal flow of time? Allow me to begin tonight's election. Parka makes her announcement before I can ask about it, however. The clock at the center of the Court of Fate begins to move shortly after. Will we have an election from you tonight, numeral 1? New text. You won't. Very well. There was a little bit of an ellipsis there, a little hesitation. Parka shifts her gaze to Maharu. And yourself, numeral 2? My lovely former vessel. She's just not even hiding it now. Sorry, but you're wasting your breath. No election on my part. Very well then. Quite a boring session tonight, I do declare. She puffs her cheeks out in discontent before making her way back to the center of the Court of Fate. Those mannerisms of hers are reminiscent of what I've learned about Diana from the diary. Innocent, yet always one to act on her whims. A girl loved by cats. Perhaps because she was like one herself. With no elections to speak of, that means we can conclude tonight's gathering of participants. Are we going to do that? Are we just going to let things slide for now? Next week marks the final round of this particular divine selection. I look forward to seeing which of you will become my vessel. Well, what happens if neither of us decide to do that? Can we bring that up? Whoever it is will no doubt have a wonderful life ahead of them. Parka smiles, pinches her skirt, and curtsies. She does this in the exact same way as when I first met her here. So there's a question I'd like answered if you don't mind. What happens if neither of us can elect the other during the next round? That is a possibility worth considering at this point, indeed. Allow me to answer by asking you to consider the significance behind the numerals you have been allocated. Oh, so it's numeral priority? That would explain why we're number 1. Parker would have engineered that. It would have been like, well, I'm going to give priority to the vessel I want. So basically, if neither of us selects the other, the lowest number is given priority and allowed to live on. No way. Hard as that is to accept, it's likely what Parka is implying. It's a simple enough conclusion to reach at this point. At first I thought the numerals only represented the order in which we carry out the election process. No, it's the order in which Parka is interested in you. These two would make sense. Why Federico would be your third choice after these two is beyond me. But now they seem much more interwoven with our fates than before. There's no need to beat around the bush anymore, is there? Tell us the true meaning behind our numerals. You said we were allocated them, right? In other words, you didn't assign them yourself. I did find it strange that I wasn't numeral 1, despite my death being the one to signal the beginning of divine selection. Originally, I thought it was due to a slight miscalculation on the juncture of fate's part, but my spot as numeral 2 disproves that. Very well, I've been looking forward to someone asking me about this for true? Okay, I can't actually tell if that's a typo or just a mannerism. I've been looking forward to someone asking me about this for true. Your numerals were indeed not selected by me. Oh, effeminate man? Left? They represent each participant's proximity to the world's primary course. Ah! To this effect, numeral 1 is closest, while numeral 12 was the furthest. Neither of us really understood what she just said. Can't say I've ever heard about this primary course or whatever before now. So basically, whoever gets to live is the one that disturbs the counter-force that we've been talking about the least. Think of the universe as a lake that filters into an endless number of streams. Each stream represents an alternate world that is birthed through choices made by its people. Of course, people themselves are not aware of this. The Court of Fate serves as a place to overlook those streams. I recall you mentioning that last part during the first round. Indeed. Hold on a sec, I'm not following. Let's say you think about eating bread for breakfast. In this situation, a world where you do and a world where you don't are both spawned. Huh? It's quantum physics, Rinka. She tries to give me a basic example, but it flies right over my head. Her cheeks puff up, likely due to my interrupting her before continuing. What is it that leads to the creation of these two different worlds? The very moment you choose to have bread, you imagine a scenario where you do and one where you don't. The universe is not as stable as people believe. Personal perception plays an integral part in its existence. You may have gone ahead and eaten your bread, but the outcome of not doing so now exists in your imagination. As such, that outcome becomes a reality in another world by nature of you recognizing it. This is what I refer to when I speak of the world's primary course and its branches. Going back to the previous example, having bread would become part of the primary course, the lake. The world where you didn't would become a stream that gradually strays further and further from the primary course. Are you getting this, Maharu? I direct my attention not toward Parka, but Maharu. She nods and then goes on to explain. We could call ourselves observers of a sort. The primary course follows the most likely scenario. I expected nothing less of you. Did you perhaps remember that we've had this conversation once before? Maharu shakes her head in response. Her quick explanation helps me to understand things, though. If we're talking about the more likely scenario, then me having bread falls under that because it's a scenario born from my initial desire to do so. We've strayed from the main topic somewhat. Parka forces a cough before proceeding. You all lost your lives during the juncture of causality. The worlds exist where that never happened. Using my power over fate, I linked each world where one of you survived to the primary course. So the primary course currently comprises worlds where we both died and survived. Not quite. That contradiction can only support itself here in the dream world, which is created from humanity's dormant consciousness. The Court of Fate is an anomaly to the world under normal circumstances. That being said, it's fine if you simply understand that one's perception of things here can affect the primary course. The more she talks, the more lost I become. Yeah, I don't think quantum physics is Rinka's strong point. Maharu seems pretty interested in what she has to say, but it's doing nothing but confusing me. I take a chance to interrupt Parka when she stops for a breath by pointing at the floor. None of that answers my question about the numerals, though. Kinda does. Not the sharpest tool in the shed, are we? The world you currently live in is one that I altered from a branch. In simple terms, your numerals represent ease, with which fate can be altered from lowest to highest. Boy, me and number 4 should have been right beside each other then. I think Parka gave up on explaining toward the end there. I get the gist of what she's saying now, though. So basically, you cut out whoever has the highest numeral, to make the final alteration of fate easier, right? Oh, correct you are, my dear. I forgot that you tend to comprehend things that others don't. I noticed Maharu nodding from the corner of my eye. I can't deny her claim if Maharu's agreeing. Furthermore, the 12-week period represents the limit of your ability to maintain this paradoxical world. Is that right? Who knows? I've never bothered to go past that. What's important is that doing so would tire me much more than I would like. Okay, so maybe it's not a hard deadline. She pouts following that statement. I can't help but think she's exaggerating a bit, mainly because she doesn't want to admit that she has a limit. Can't beat her divine pride. Anyway, the gist is that she's only capable of joining the branches together with the primary course for 12 weeks. What happens when the worlds where each participant's death have been undone... Let me start that sentence again. What happens to the worlds where each participant's death has been undone when they're eliminated? Fantastic question, my dear. While I may be able to alter the world myself, the world also has something of a counterforce. This exists to return both the primary course and each branch to normal. Once a participant has been eliminated, the world in which they're still alive becomes a branch once again and distances itself from the primary course more and more. So there are still worlds out there where they're alive? Well, in that case, there are indeed, though I must stress that even I can't observe them once they've drifted far enough away. The juncture of causality that ties 12 of these worlds together is what allows me to link them to the primary course in the first place. Regardless, it's about time we end tonight's session. I've carried on for far too long already. Wait! Nope, no waiting. Tonight's session resulted in no eliminations. I bid you both farewell for now. She wastes no time in making her announcement after cutting the conversation short. I turn my gaze to Maharu, who calmly nods back to me. That's right. There's no need for us to panic right now. We need to throw our original plan out the window based on what we learned tonight. Well, I mean, I guess the original plan was for both of them to survive, but from the sound of it, if that happens, then Rinka lives. That's just the choice, which we know from another path is a bad ending. We do not want this. Do we, Diana? Should two participants remain, whoever has the higher numeral will be eliminated by default. This likely applies to a situation where we can't elect one another, too. Our only hope now is the one card sleeping within my card book. Yep. But can we do more? Can we get 2 more cards? Will a feminine dude help us? Hi, Lef. Konbanwa. Or is it good morning? Greetings don't feel right either. Konbanwa, konnichiwa. I wouldn't mind having a catchphrase like a certain goddess, but inventing one is rather difficult. Once again, I'm face to face with this man. This cat. He speaks casually and then grins. Is he trying to provoke me? Apologies. I'll set the jokes aside for now. You've finally obtained the most fundamental piece to this puzzle. All that remains is to place it in the relevant spot. This puzzle is one that was never meant to be completed. Allow me to guide you through the fog that clouds your memory. Are we going to go to a memory before our lives? Oh, we are! We're going to a memory from a previous life. Flames envelop me. Flames powerful enough to flake the skin from my bones. Flames that produce enough smoke to smolder my lungs. Is this how we get a regret card and a cause of death? My life turns to ash. My inability to move even my fingers tells me as much. Diana! Well, Linda's there. Diana! Screaming for us. Diana! Don't leave her behind, please, Diana! Poor Parka. Look at those nice red eyes, just like we have. I hear someone shouting. I finally know to whom those cries of anguish belong. Hey, you're British. Shouldn't your hair be gold? Fate truly works in strange ways. I thought these were memories shared only by myself and Naomi, but I learned that I share them with my parents. And now it turns out even Linda and Diana went through the same thing. Yeah, you guys just love dying in fires, don't you? And, that's a save yourself. The flames spread further, drowning out the cries. My consciousness vanishes by the time they come inaudible. I mean, shouldn't that give us a cause of death card at least? We didn't get a regret card. And then I wake up in a cold sweat. Grab this cat by the throat. Tell us more, you son of a bitch. Leth must have crawled into my bed at some point, but it's not responsible for this. Oh, yes, it is! I recall those flames. The memories sleeping within me are just my own. Hey, I've done past life regressions before. I'm not sure if it's because we're related or because I read that diary, but it's definitely due to one of those reasons why I saw what I did. What's more, oh, we did get a card. What's more, I noticed that a new card has materialized in my card book. Diana's and thus Parka's cause of death. We did get it. Poison? Wait, what? Poison? Was there some sort of, like, serial killer? What happened 100 years ago, and how did it translate from, you know, random freak deaths every week to, oh, I'm a goddess now? That's the most common cause when it comes to deaths like this. Yeah, but it's not the one we watched. Oh, carbon monoxide poisoning. Okay, so she did die to poison, but carbon monoxide poisoning kills much faster than the flames. No death can be described as pleasant, but Diana's case seems especially painful. No. You don't get to meow at me. Come on, Rinka. Put two and two together. This frickin' cat. Check the paw. Leth jumps from my bed. Probably because I've gotten up and moved to my desk. It usually runs off after I get up. But I'm not going to let that happen today. No, don't. Grab that son of a bitch. Meow. Rather than pick it up like normal, I grab it by the tail. Mainly out of fear that it'll outrun me. Get back here, you bastard. It was definitely about to hightail it. Nah, you can hiss all you damn please. It turns to face me and then starts hissing. I guess being grabbed by the tail doesn't feel too good. I refuse to let go and tug it even harder. Yeah, we're not putting up with this no more. It tries to run, but I scoop it up and then check its front paw. Yes! Do it! I knew it. It has a scar. Alright, the same scar that Leo, Linda's cat, had. Oh, we're finally getting on this. Rinka. Her diary mentioned that it cut itself by stepping on a piece of glass. Naturally, you don't inherit a scar. The possibility of Leth somehow injuring itself in the same spot exists, but I'm willing to bet that isn't the case. You grab that thing by the scruff of its neck. You're the guy that keeps appearing in my dreams, aren't you? Yes! Finally, we're on this. Can't say I understand how that works, but after everything else I've seen, it's hardly surprising. Is he going to be the one that facilitated this whole thing? Is he going to be the one by the means? Maybe he tried to save Parka. He twisted fate and was like, well, I'm going to give this person a mercy for whatever reason. Maybe he felt guilty because he had a hand in something. Or because he was part of that divine selection and it got him a body and a cat. And he's doing his owner a solid. How does this work? Meow? Oh, don't you play innocent. My question makes me sound crazy, but I pose it nonetheless. Leth is always nearby whenever that guy appears. I wondered about that. We noticed it a while ago. I first noticed it after seeing the photo with Diana and Leo. I can't just chalk it up to them looking alike now, even if the idea of it living for so long seems impossible. Throwing away logic is a must if I want to find the truth behind divine selection. Its paw serves as my definitive piece of evidence. Objection! This is the part where Phoenix Wright throws it out. He just throws Leth against the wall. Whoops! It only makes sense that even a cat can become a vessel for something if humans can. Yeah, exactly. Is he a vessel? Is he possessed? What's the situation? Maybe you can only speak in the dream world or something. A sudden realization causes me to plop Leth on my seat. If it really is that guy from my dreams, then that means I've been sharing my bed with him. Anyway, if you can understand me, you better show yourself tonight. We can talk more then. Now you're going to be friendly? It's a simple meow, but it sounds like a proper response to my ears. Interesting. We have Monday through Thursday off from school due to midterms being over. Wait a minute, what was that? Although it's one of the busiest times for teachers since they have to go over everyone's exams, grade them, and prepare all the different results. We're still Monday. Okay. Good to know. Having a drink? I'm almost out of coffee. Rinka, make me some more. They can probably do with as much help as they can get right now. Funny how I'm the one getting help from some weird guy in my dreams at a time like this. That being said, I plan on keeping the store open all day during our time off. It might seem weird to prioritize weekdays over the weekend, but I'm sure the regulars will appreciate it. Dream time? Better be. Hey, Leth. The day flies by faster than anticipated, thus I return to my room. Leth's already curled up and ready to sleep, so I grab a blanket and wrap it up. It really does understand what I'm saying, huh? Good night. I've got an early start tomorrow, so I dive right into bed once I'm ready. Well, mostly because something tells me I'm not going to feel rested at all when I wake up. We're back here, and he's going to be like, well, I'm busted. I mean, we've been suspecting this for a while now, so that's no surprise. Yep, looks like I was right. The fact that I find myself in the dream world, albeit one different from the Court of Fate, proves it. Good evening. I guess there's no need for secrets now that you've uncovered my cat identity. Perhaps you might be wondering why you can't speak here, but it's rather simple. Unlike Parka, my previous owner, I lack the ability to meow-infest myself, the Court of Fate. Maintaining your existence on a conceptual level is simply impossible for me. I am going to punch you when I wake up. Fortunately, I can intervene in your own dream world. I get that he's trying to say something important, but all those cringy cat puns make it hard to care. I'll probably force myself to wake up if he doesn't stop soon, yeah. I'm gonna kick Leth in my sleep. Oh, he's literally Leth. That's just his name. Aw, how harsh of you. This helps prove the point I wanted to make, though. You may not be able to speak here, but your thoughts still make it to me. So what are you exactly? I am Leth, the river of forgetfulness that flows through the underworld. Rather, an existence given power resembling it. Okay, so I theorized this before. Back in the day, when I was trying to even figure out how to pronounce Leth's name, I reminded myself that Leth is actually the river that flows around the cave Hypnos in, I believe, Greek mythology, which I was like, I feel an affinity to that. Well then, you are the river of forgetfulness. Literally the river, he says. The details vary from tale to tale, but we can keep it simple for your sake. Leth is a river that flows through the underworld, and those who drink from it experience complete forgetfulness. Yeah, amnesia is fun to induce. Nope, that doesn't explain anything. I'm the one responsible for erasing the memories of any paradoxes created by divine selection. Oh, interesting. Well, you did a crap job with Naomi. Think of me as a being that's been granted the role of interfering with people's memories, if you will. Either way, I was right about you being Leth. Actually, I guess you'd be Leo, considering the scar on your paw. Can you explain how and why you can take on a human form and appear in my dreams, much like Parka? It's because I'm essentially nothing to this world. A regular cat became me, while a poor girl became a goddess. That's how the story begins. Let's hear this story. I knew it. Parker really was Diana all along. There's no denying it, now that he's said as much. Indeed, I knew there was every possibility you would discover this through reading Linda's diary. Of course, I would have been a tad upset if you never caught on to my own identity after all the hints I dropped. Hey, you dropped a lot of hints. Psy'Min picked up on them good. Hints? Oh yeah! Remember, Rinka, you're dense. Our position in the real world has no relation to our ability to appear within your dreams. Yet I made sure to always be near you when I did, no? Regardless, our power of being transient means time is of the essence. Allow me to give a quick explanation as to how I came to be. Yeah, let's get this. Time seems to be a concern for him too, just like Parka. Curious as I am, I make sure not to interrupt him. This power of mine is one I was never meant to receive. The circumstances differ greatly from Diana's. She lost her life, soon after 11 other people. This served as the most suitable manner in which to become Parka. Yeah, but why? A bunch of people dying doesn't automatically turn you into a goddess. If it did, I would have gone on a killing spree a long time ago. Whether that was by coincidence or not, I can't say for sure. Either way, her desire to live was powerful. So much so that it reached something that may or may not exist in this world. He adds that that thing could be what we humans refer to as gods or spirits, along with the fact that it's something we can't perceive. Nothing would come from that desire under regular circumstances. However, 11 lives were lost previous to this. Okay, so there is an energy that gets used to do this. The prospects surrounding the lives and deaths of those 11 people formed a spiral, with Diana at its center, becoming a force capable of distorting fate itself. Their feelings and what they had perceived became fragments, which accumulated within that distortion. On a conceptual level, these fragments served as a form of energy. Okay, alright, this kind of ties into the things we were learning about on the other timeline there. Diana's link to that something I mentioned allowed her to use that energy and cause a miracle, resulting in her becoming Parka. The 13th person involved, Linda, would become her vessel. Oh! Linda became Parka's vessel. That's interesting. I mean, I guess that kind of disproves maybe my bloodline theory, because if they were sisters, you'd think she would just take over. Or maybe there needed to be a 12-week... I mean, it can't just be 12 weeks, because we've seen endings where she inhabits Maharu and Federico. Well, let's let him continue. Of course, her existence wasn't perfect. Unlike that certain something, she required a vessel and ritual to exist. This is where Leo, our cute and lovable cat, comes in. I myself was on the brink of death due to that fire. Diana, through her desire for Leo to survive, split her power with me. She did so despite it being imperfect. To be more accurate, I was connected with the very same something by her doing so. Having been removed from the circle of fate, death became a foreign concept to me. So are you just an immortal cat now? I was given a will and human-like features, yet I cannot be classified as one. I was no longer a mere cat, but also nothing close to a god. That's what stands before you now. Diana may have wished for Leo's survival, but unfortunately that never came to be. In the end, Leth's existence remains undefined. I only get about half of what he's saying, in all honesty. It's like how you can understand words but not their meaning. I'm sure what he's trying to say is simple, though. Diana's desire to live led her to becoming Parka, and her desire for Leo to survive turned it into Leth. And it wasn't just the survival, it was the energy of those 11 deaths. I wonder what caused those 11 deaths. It still doesn't seem like a coincidence. Was there like a serial killer going around or something? Now I'm even more curious. That way of thinking is the exact same as us. He still has more to say. Diana is a kind girl at heart. That's why I used my power on her first and foremost, to erase almost all of her memories from her time as a human. Ah, so that's why she doesn't remember anything, because of Leth. I left just enough for Parka to remain a human-like will. Do you know why? She must bear the burden of carrying out divine selection to maintain her own existence. Doing so involves giving hope to others, only to rip it away. A girl as kind as her could never live with that. Thus, I choose to do what I did. She never once tried to interfere with our fates. Our situations seemed entertaining to her on the surface, but she never looked as though she was truly enjoying it. I wonder if, again, we're getting cards for Parka. I wonder if we're not going to vote her out. I wonder if we're actually going to save her. I wonder if we're going to bring her memories back and cause her to repent. That would be a true ending, because in that one ending, everyone survived. But what if everyone and Parka survived? But as Diana, that could be interesting. Indeed, the emotions you all experience are foreign to Parka. That's why she's been able to proceed with divine selection thus far. That's why she doesn't even realize she's not wearing a parka. I mean, can you believe it? So divine selection is a system put in place to ensure Diana's continued existence. It sure seems that way, at least. With that out of the way, I have a request. You know, I get that it mirrors the way she died. Well, I mean, I guess if she needs the energy from those 11 deaths to sustain herself, that explains why the game keeps needing to be played. Alright, I guess I can let you fudge that one. With that out of the way, I have a request. A request? Indeed, not as Leth, but as a simple cat that treasured its owner. Please save her. Ah, we are going to have to save her. Save her? That's right. She's finally awakened to a certain ambition in her current form. That is to say, she wishes to abandon her conceptual form, not using a simple vessel, but with a full-fledged body of her own. Oh yeah, and we know whose body she wants. So Diana's trying to revive herself then. Not quite. Diana doesn't wish for this. Divine selection has allowed her to create the personality known as Parka. This personality was born based on the few memories she retained as Diana. Desires and ambitions are inherently attached to one's personality. That's why Parka eventually developed this ambition of her own. All the pieces fell into place for her. This happened through her meeting someone who shares both her essence and past material form. Ah, so it's not just the fact that we're her bloodline, but it's the fact that because of the way we were born, because of our parents as previous participants, we have a very small piece of her essence mixed in us. A direct descendant of her older sister, someone born within the confines of a twisted fate. Diana's older sister, Linda. Someone born during divine selection whose existence wasn't undone. It's me. Granted, that's not too difficult to figure out when only me and Maharu are left at this point. Yeah, I mean, flip a coin, right? Correct you are. Parka, having met you through your fate, influenced fate so that you would become a participant. I knew it. I mean, I know, I already had a feeling that she killed all 11 of those people at that one time because Maharu killed herself, but she went out of her way to make sure we were one of them. Huh? She opposed fate itself in doing so. Her powers remain transient all the same, thus she can never win against it. Fate, and the world itself, will do everything it can to return to its natural state. Even should she succeed and overtake your body, all that awaits her is a cruel death. Ah, so that's why she died. She tried to manipulate fate. She tried to get us killed, to put us in divine selection, to take over her body, and as soon as she did, she died anyway. Because eventually things had to correct. Oh, that's nuts. Okay, so that's why she died. Again, there's definitely the echoes of Steins Gate in here. Because she dies, she dies. You know who I'm talking about. What do you want me to do, then? You're already just one step away from succeeding, aren't you? The regret? So we have to elect her. Elections are a means of reverting one's fate by making everything about them clear. Oh, by electing her out, we'll revert everything she's done. So we will get everyone to come back to life? That'd be swell. You can restore Diana back to her original fate by doing so. They may be different personalities, but both Linda and Parka share the same existence. Oh, how much is this going to revert? Are we literally going to get our parents back? That would be wild. This is going to be quite the shift. Both will disappear should you succeed. They'll finally be able to rest. Diana's done enough by this point. She has no reason to defy fate anymore. What about us, then? We're trying to do what she did. Your cases are inherently different. Surviving divine selection is a simple case of trying to influence the possibility of you still being alive into the primary flow. Diana, on the other hand, no longer has that possibility. Over 100 years have passed since her birth, after all. Her ambition is what it means to truly defy fate. Pain and suffering come hand in hand with this, however. They only continue to build up while she's unaware. And you're fine with this? Diana herself is upset by all this. It's her will as much as it is mine. Can you explain that? Sorry, but I won't be able to maintain my connection to your dream world for much longer. Well, you better tell me tomorrow then, asshole. Wait! We still don't know Parka's regret. There's more I want to ask, too. Worry not, it won't be long before you come to learn the rest. You can't rely on me any further. From here on out, you'll have to use everything you know to make it through. Find an outcome where both of you can be happy. And allow me to make one last apology. I am the one responsible for your foggy memory at the outset of divine selection. Oh? Was there a purpose behind that? I had to remove parts of your memory to make you forget your own compatibility with Parka. I did it so she couldn't force you to win. Ah, okay. Perhaps I should phrase it another way. Your happiness relies on surviving with your friend, correct? I know her well through you, my current owner. As such, this is the most I can do to help you. Be warned, though, the gradual return of your memories also affects Parka's. She has her sights set on you now. A way for both of us to survive. That's... Things would never have played out like this had you known everything from the start. Though I should stress, it was by your own power that they did. I merely provided an opportunity. I guess I should thank you, then. I'm the one that should be thanking you. We spent far more time together while I was a cat, but you've been a fantastic owner. Can I have some tuna when you wake up? Helping you out any further would be breaking my own rules, so we won't meet again until everything is over. Rules exist to maintain order and balance. It wouldn't be right of me to topple that balance by continuing to break them. Ah, let's not forget that you'll still have the pleasure of seeing me in my lovely cat form, so, lucky you. Good luck. I'm praying for your success. My mind begins to lull once more as he stops talking. Dreams are supposed to be a way for the brain to process thoughts, but I'm leaving way more confused than I came. Oh, I don't know. I think that answered quite a bit. But we do still need... Upon waking up, I notice a gorgeous black cat sleeping on my bed. Thanks, Leth. Well, we have a new god buddy now in our cat. I promise not to grab your tail anymore, buddy. I dragged myself out of bed after hearing its answer. Leth told me that we need to make it through on our own. I wonder what this has to do with Maharu passing out when she got near him, though. Is it because Parka is still technically in her? I don't think that's the case. I wonder what that's about. Leth told me that we need to make it through on our own. Through the 12th election. The conclusion of divine selection. Well, we need to figure out our regret. In other words, next Monday. I'm pretty sure you mean Sunday there. We need to overcome all odds and reach that day. Okay, technically you need to reach Monday, but you need to survive Sunday. Okay, time to... My phone goes off just as I'm about to get ready. Looks like Mao is calling me. Why Mao, of all people? It's not a text, it's an actual call. I take a deep breath and answer it. Rinny, come quick! Naorin! Naorin! Uh-oh. What happened? Mao's panicked voice is the first thing I hear after picking up. Did Parka do something? Because now she's got her sights set on Rinka. We might have to vote her out to save Naomi again. What's going on? The shock of what I just heard causes me to drop my phone. What happened to Naomi? Why are we back in the hospital? Mao calls Maharu as well, so the three of us meet in the hospital lounge to talk. Based on what we know, Naomi was rushed there earlier. She did have the diary. Again, did that alert Parka to something? Is Parka gonna visit us and warn us, hey, don't you dare? Seems like she collapsed this morning. She was at home reading as usual, but something seemed off. Then she said that her head started hurting all of a sudden. Oh, she had another headache. This has happened a few times, usually when her memory is getting just fricked up. It kind of happened with certain, like, when she knows that she got killed by you, but she really lost it when she ran into Alan that one time. Did something happen as a result of something she read in the diary? That could be very interesting. Maybe Naomi did discover something. I mean, she wouldn't have taken the diary if the game wasn't going to give her something to get out of it. She had an awful fever, which is what caused her mom to call an ambulance. They don't seem to know what the cause is either. I've heard the details from Naomi's mom as well. They have no idea what happened. What's worse is she's also unconscious. It's so sudden that they can't think of any cause. Was she reading our book, the diary? I can't blame them either. You seemed perfectly fine to me when we last met. Doesn't seem like she collapsed from overexertion, so all the doctors can do is put her on an IV and let her sleep for now. How come you two were the first to hear about this? I called her up to ask if she wanted to hang at your place, but her mom picked up instead. This would be completely unexpected to most people, but me? I've seen her go through this before. Yeah, when her memories are conflicted. Do you know what she was reading? Nope, only that was some really old book. Aha! They suggested that she could have been allergic to a mold or something since it's so old, but apparently that's not it. I try not to make a big deal out of this information. Well, there's not much we can do right now. Might as well go home and wait for the results of the scan. Okay, bye! I head out after that, but not before making eye contact with Maharu. Back at Lion House, Maharu turns up before long. Guess she understood what I meant. Mao took this development the worst out of us, so I urged her to just go home. That, plus the fact that I can't really discuss what I'm about to when she's around. Hey, I don't think we've seen her sitting down with that shirt before. Do you remember what I told you about Naomi collapsing before the 10th election? Yeah, that would have been when she ran to Alan. I do. The time Alan helped her, right? Yeah, exactly. You also collapsed around Leth. What's with the collapsing? You guys need to stop that. I nod. She mentioned having a headache not long before collapsing then, too. Her condition's a lot worse now than it was back then, but the symptoms are similar. She even had a fever at the time. It was due to her memories being in disarray, if I recall, mainly because they get rewritten after every elimination, unlike ours. Everyone just glances over at Leth. Leth, you got some splaining to do. That burden must have led to her headache and eventually her collapse. Are we going to call Leth out on that? Yeah, we had a few headaches of our own about that, especially concerning you, who had headaches about us too. I suffered similar headaches during the start of Divine Selection due to my own foggy memory. Leth? In Naomi's case, new memories are overwriting those she had prior to the alteration. That means she's suffering twice as much as we did. It's my fault for not noticing. No, it's not. I take responsibility for not anticipating it. Naomi's been with me this entire time. I may have chosen to distance myself from her for time, but I've been keeping her up to date with everything since the incident with you. So basically, I've been replacing her new memories with those from before the alteration. Yeah, it is kind of your fault. Things never would have escalated this far if I had been more careful. Well, there's no point in feeling sorry for ourselves right now. All we can do is believe that she'll be fine. But again, what triggered it this time? Did she find something in the book? What's more, we also have a duty to think about divine selection. Yeah, thanks. I'm so grateful for Maharu's level-headedness. Then again, I doubt it's all natural. She's forcing herself to be like this due to my own state of panic. I take a deep breath and suggest that we sit down. We are sitting down. I can't just switch gears considering the circumstances, but the truth remains that either Maharu or I will die if we don't sort things out. We need to make progress, no matter what. Take a look at this. I show her a certain card. Yep, Diana's cause of death. Not only that, but I make sure to fill her in on what Leth told me. Ah, here's that music. Needless to say, doing so takes some time. I make some coffee to help calm the both of us down, but we drink it all long before I'm done. That answers plenty of questions. Now I can guess why you're the only one that can materialize Diana's cards, too. I tilt my head in curiosity, not entirely understanding her. You're clearly special to Parka, hence her desire for you. On the flip side, that makes her, Diana rather, special to you as well. See, now Maharu knows that she can't just sacrifice herself, because if Rinka wins, she dies. We can't let that happen. We both share something, which is why only I can materialize her cards, right? Maharu nods and says that's likely the case. Who comes up with these rules anyway? Leth, I want to speak to your supervisor. Anyway, trusting not Cat Leth seems like our best bet. What he said aligns with what we know, too. Watch Leth be the ultimate bad guy. Yeah, if anything, I trust in the fact that he's fond of both us and Diana. It might be similar to how a parent feels for their children, considering how long it's been around. Leth just happens to pass by while we're talking about it. Yeah, you understand us, you little bastard. It flinches when I call out to it, but then it turns to face us. Is there anything you can do to help Naomi? She has to have been suffering thanks to what's going on with her memories. Leth should be able to do something, yeah, no kidding. He might even know the cause. What's more, he could use his powers to make her forget one side and stabilize others. Oh, I forgot you can't speak in that form. Can we talk if I take a nap? Leth shakes its head. Not every day you see a cat do that. I realize right away that it isn't doing so just in response to my question, though. The Leth in my dreams already told me that it won't help us anymore. I mean, if you're partly responsible for what's going on with Naomi, you got a responsibility here too, buddy. Consider it a request from me as well. You know how to help her, don't you? Even Maharu pleads with it. Leth doesn't respond this time, instead turning its head and wandering off. Neither of us can do anything to stop it. That reminds me of what I was told before. You can't rely on me any further. From here on out, you'll have to use everything you know to make it through. Did Leth know this would happen? I mean, again, partly that, but also, what was Naomi reading? I wouldn't imagine that book is on the same page she left it on, was it? Maybe there's a bookmark? It's possible he said that while taking this situation into consideration. In that case, this is something we need to overcome on our own. Either way, we should visit Naomi tomorrow. Agreed. We split up for the day following that. All that's left to do is wait. So I say, but it's pretty frustrating when we don't even have time to discuss Parka's regret. Yeah, that's the focus. If you can get that card, that should be your priority here. Care about Naomi, but come on, card it up. Leth didn't appear in my dreams last night, though that was much expected. I can't tell if this tendency to rely on others is a trait of mine or of people in general. Either way, we've made arrangements to go to the hospital with Mao today. Maharu has to work the morning shift, so it'll happen this evening. We're going to talk things out back here regarding Parka's regret once we're done, too. I waste no time in getting ready to leave. Yeah, Naomi may have some insight into that if she's been really going through that book. They said they don't know when they'll be able to discharge her. Is this Parka's interference, though? I still wonder about that. Mao makes no effort to conceal her shock over the current situation. Both of us sigh, prompting Mao to relay the rest of what she heard from Naomi's mom. They have no idea what's going on, even after all the scans. It's just all so sudden. They even said it's possible that she might not wake up again. Oh, that would suck rocks. What in the world happened to her? Not knowing what's going on must have her far more distressed than me. That almost makes me want to reveal everything about Divine Selection to her. Maharu pulls on my sleeve upon noticing my expression, though. We haven't told her about any of this for a reason. She doesn't deserve to be burdened with that knowledge. Plus, we want her to remain as our beacon for a regular life. Yeah, again, I keep commenting that's sort of Mao's role in all this. I keep wondering if there's something about her that's vessel-y or something. It's like, nope, she's just the one normal person in this whole story. I clench my fist and do all I can to hold back the temptation. Telling her won't help Naomi recover. We just have to believe in her. It hurts, but that's really all we can do for now. Get the book back. The book's gonna have something in it. Wednesday! We're burning days here. That's enough for today, I'd say. Maharu and I return to Lion House to talk things out. Not much comes from our meeting, though. Maharu seems particularly disappointed based on her expression when she leaves. Our discussion involved Parka's regret, naturally. We came up with a number of ideas based on what I'd learned from Leth, but none of them resulted in a card. It's Wednesday, so I'm starting to panic. Yeah, exactly. We've only got 4 more days. I'm starting to feel like I really am powerless. Was it just a coincidence that everything else went so well prior to this? I'm sure Maharu is going to offer up her own life if things continue like this. Yeah, but again, that doesn't mean good things for you. Parka said she had no involvement in the distribution of our numerals, but I can't help but suspect that she set things up for me to be the sole survivor should a situation like this arise. Yep, exactly. I suspect that as well. It allows her to carry out her ambition. So unfair. I clench my fist in anger. It's all I can do. I mean, Maharu can vote us out to prevent it, but that isn't really an ending. All we're doing is just spiting Parka. Well, and another day rolls by. It's Thursday. That's enough for today, I'd say. I'm forced to hear Maharu repeat the same line from yesterday. Naomi still hasn't recovered, and we still haven't made any progress with Parka's regret. So basically, we're still stuck at the same spot. Today is our last day off from school, too. Oh, take the day off from school. Just do it. We'll be back there tomorrow, forced to face our exam results. Like that's the priority. Summer holidays aren't too far off either, and yet we won't have the chance to enjoy them at this rate. Is it all over for us? My panic leads me to lament. Our lack of progress after feeling such hope for the future has taken a huge toll on me. Oh! I was about to say, did you just get slapped? I thought that, and then I didn't think it, and now I think it again. I hang my head, only to hear a violent sound reverberate through the store. A wave of pain rushing through my cheek accompanies it. Yeah, Maharu's not going to let you think like that. What? I won't apologize for that one. The source is simple. Maharu's just slapped me right across the face. The stinging pain doesn't seem like it'll fade anytime soon. What's left for us if you give up now? Leth wasn't lying when he said you're standing here by your own power. It's thanks to you that I haven't given up on living. Yeah, no kidding. We're also Maharu's hope here. Remember when Maharu's dad decided to commit suicide after everything Maharu's mom did and sacrificed and supported him? And now Rink is kind of putting Maharu in that same position. So, you know what? I'm going to give her that slap. You're the one who convinced me, aren't you? The rest of us are bound to fall apart if you, of all people, give up. Maharu's lips quiver as she looks down on me. We did hear that story in this timeline, too. That preceded the not giving her an answer. Now I know that she looks ready to cry when she gets angry. This may be the first time she's ever been truly upset with me. Well, I mean, again, there's a reason. So what should I do? You said it yourself. We need to believe in Naomi. You remaining resolute is a requirement for us to do that. I pry my hands from my cheek and stare Maharu down. The pain hasn't faded, but if anything, it's helped to calm me down. I'll believe in her. Not just in her, but in myself as well. I'll make sure we gather all of Parka's cards. Good. I've given in to despair once before. Back when you killed Naomi. Yeah, no kidding. That was a crap week. Naomi's still alive this time around, though. There's no doubt she's fighting against her own conflicting memories. And again, what triggered that? Either Naomi is going to wake up and just be like, aha! Or there's going to be something in the book. But also, what's curious is why would things happening in the book trigger Naomi's memories? It's not like she was alive 100 years ago. What did she notice? I don't have any right to give up. Maharu comes to her senses upon seeing me stand up and stretch, which leads to her worrying about having hit me. It's kind of funny to hear her telling me to ice my cheek down to prevent it from swelling, as well as worry about whether or not I bit the inside of my mouth when she smacked me. I mean, that's how it be sometimes. Thursday, I find myself in thought once alone in my room. Left's claim has to mean that we already have the necessary information available to us. It's probably in the diary. Which means we need to work to find what links us all. Left made it a point to liken our memories to a puzzle, too. There has to be a connection. In terms of both Naomi's hospitalization and Parka's secret that Leth mentioned, I mean. It's hard to believe they're not connected when the concept of memories plays such a big part in both. There might not even be an answer to find, but right now all I can do is think. I continue to think until I fall asleep. You want to think about getting that diary back? Oh, I should add that Maharu sent me over 10 texts about how worried she is about me. None of them include an apology, though. She's definitely stubborn. I mean, Maharu gonna Maharu. Nothing new comes to mind upon waking up. Actually, that's true. Things can sometimes be inspired during sleep and dreams and things, even when Catleth isn't visiting us and making bad puns. Today's Friday, which means we've only got 3 days till the final round. It's still too soon to give up, though. We managed to materialize Scale's final card with far less time to spare. Now that I think about it, there may be another diary or something lying around in my Grand's room. That's wishful thinking. Get the one Naomi has. I'll ask her if I can snoop around once school's over. Something will come to mind so long as I don't give up. For now, though, I should focus on getting ready for school. Nothing could prepare me for what awaits me there. What is it? And I mean that in a good way. Naomi's back! Yay, Naomi! Naorin! It's Naomi! All three of us happened to arrive at the same time, only to see Naomi there. She got like bandages on her head or something. Part of me wonders when she woke up, and if she should even be at school so soon, but my relief over her being okay takes precedence. Knowing her, she came to tell us what she learned. It's only natural, really. It doesn't take long for another shocking revelation to rear its head, though. Here we go. One that I'm not sure how to react over. Uh-oh. Has Naomi been taken over? Has she come up with something absolutely absurd and ridiculous and crazy? What's up? Oh my god. Salutations one and all. This is Parka, isn't it? I mean, that can't really be the case, but what's going on here? Oh, it is Parka's line. I mean, Naomi, look at Naomi. She looks different. She's not slouched. This is clearly a different sprite. Her posture and mannerisms are completely different. Uh-oh. That single line is enough to freeze me in my tracks. The same likely applies to Maharu. Oh, well, salutations to you too, Naorin. Mayo's probably the only one to adapt well to Naomi's sudden change. My sincerest of apologies for concerning you. As you can see, I am now fit as a fiddle once again. I'm just going to use Parka's voice for this, because there's no way. Yep, awesome. We were worried about you for a while there. Mao is just clueless. Meanwhile, Maharu and Rink are just shitting bricks. Now, I didn't expect this. That's for damn sure. Oh, that little laugh. You bitch. Explain this to me. If Parka can just pop into people, what's the point of divine selection? Naomi places one hand over her mouth and belts out an elegant laugh. It's far too different from how Naomi usually behaves. If anything, it reminds me of a certain someone. Parka. The realization causes me to stay alert. Wasn't it my body she was aiming for? Yeah, this isn't even a vessel situation. This is a... Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Is the reason Naomi had a headache and a memory conflict was because, much like Rinka, she has some past life memories conflicting with this, which means that her and Rinka share a descendant. Oh, that would be sticky. Wasn't it my body she was aiming for? I mean, this still doesn't explain how she can just go and be like, I possess you now, yay! I mean, and also, why is she doing this? Is this her defense mechanism? Again, she has to know what Maharu and Rink are up to. How is this the counterplay? What's more, we still have 3 days of divine selection left. Come along, we mustn't tarry here. We make our way into the school upon her insistence, all manner of questions on my mind. Yeah, no kidding. Why are you even going to school? Just grab her by the scruff of her neck and drag her to Lionhouse. Once inside, we split up and head to our respective classrooms. Mao doesn't seem too taken aback due to her relief that Naomi's better, but I don't have that same luxury. The same applies to Maharu. What if Mao's memories have been overwritten to make her think that this is how Naomi always talked? I don't know about that. Possible. A chill runs down my spine as I consider that. There's nothing I can do if Park has taken over Naomi and altered the world to make that normal. That would be very out of the blue. Naomi sure is speaking funny after being down for a few days, but hey, it's good to see her doing better. Yeah, I had a feeling that was the actual case. Yeah, she looks as good as new. I do feel like she should have taken some time off, though. Mao makes it apparent that she's too preoccupied with being happy over Naomi's recovery to care about her speech. Okay, but she has noticed she's talking funny. One concern's been eliminated, but the possibility of Parka having taken over Naomi's body remains. That's not a possibility. That seems like it happened. We agree to meet after school, so I'll take a chance and see how things play out. It's been a while since we were last at school, but there's nothing much for us to do other than check our exam results. This is going to distract us heavily from figuring out the regret, isn't it? I'm actually pretty invested in them this time, considering the effort I put into studying. How'd you do, Rinny? Mao wastes no time in asking me about my grades. And for once in my life, I can show my report card with pride. Yeah, but Mao still beat you, right? Not a single subject below 60. Shows how much I studied, huh? Yep, this is the same scene we saw before. That's... Part of me was worried you'd beat me since you studied way more than me, but I guess it was for nothing. Mao just hits us with it. She's happy to shove her own report card in my face. Over 70 in every single subject. She has to be in the top half of our grade with results like that. Top half isn't that much to be proud of. Speaking as someone who usually got 80s and 90s. It's all about putting in the work every day, which you don't. And I say you meaning both of you. Maharu makes her way over while I'm wincing over this harsh life lesson. Those exams were pretty tough in all honesty. I even let someone else take my top spot thanks to not being able to study as much as I'd have liked. Her results are so incredible that I can hardly stand looking at them. But just as she said, she dropped a second in our grade this time around. There are 3 scholarship positions from what I remember, so remarks shouldn't be an issue. It's a pretty remarkable jump compared to your midterms, at least. Jeez. Sucks that we gotta start worrying about our entrance exams soon, though. The format of our school means that most people have already started to study for the university's entrance exams the moment they enter high school. That reminds me, Naomi said she's going to start going to cram school during the summer. Well, maybe she doesn't want to do that anymore. I guess that makes me and Mao the odd ones out, considering Maharu's a beast that doesn't need to worry about such things. Amika's exams are pretty difficult compared to those of other schools by nature of its format. Entrance exams won't be bad so long as you keep on top of your normal studies. There's no point for people who do poorly on exams to try to make up for it with cram school. All they'll accomplish is fooling themselves into thinking they know how to study when they don't. I realize she's trying to cheer me up, I do, but her point's so sharp that it might as well be a lethal weapon. I just pray she doesn't say anything like that around Naomi. Excellent point, Maharu. Not Maharoon? And one that gives Queen Mao free rein to enjoy her summer holiday to the fullest. Mao declares her plans loud and proud, but Maharu seems to have ignored them completely. Can we please care about Naomi again? There was a fireworks display in August, right? Let's keep that a day free. Of course. Maharu and I promise we'll go back to it when we're at the theme park. That's why I respond right away. Alright, let's prepare our attack plan at Rinny's place. I give Mao an affirmative nod. Yeah, but Naomi. We only have morning classes today, so we head back to my place after grabbing some food at the school cafeteria. As for Naomi, she's still speaking like royalty. What is up with this? Watch her be Linda. I do declare that ramen was spectacular, a culinary delight that only a commoner can truly appreciate. This sure is messing with my head. Hearing Naomi talk and act snobby like Parka is an adjustment, to say the least. Does Parka think we're fooling us, like she did in the other route? Life would be a lot easier if we could just not care like Mao, but that's not an option. Oh yeah, mind if I ask when you woke up, Naorin? Last evening. Again, my sincerest apologies for calling you all undue concern. Both the doctors and my mother were beside themselves with worry, but upon some measurements of my heart rate and blood pressure, I was given a clean bill of health. Well, 'twas met with opposition when I voiced my desire to attend school and enjoy my final day of the semester, but forsooth, they eventually relented. I am perfectly sound as you can see. Further concern is unwarranted. I am a robot. Beep boop. Well, if you say so. Maharu makes no effort to hide her incredulity. The conversation continues as we make our way to Lion House. Okay, can we just lose Mayorin and tie Naomi down, please? Yep, starting with this. Alright, I'm gonna jet. Got stuff to do. Mao takes her leave before too long. The plan was to figure out what we'd do during summer holiday, but all we did was chat and eat snacks. Not much in the way of planning. Granted, this is Mao we're talking about. She'll probably come up with a new suggestion sooner or later. Can't say I'm against letting her decide what we should do either. The real issue is with this girl sitting in front of me right now. Yeah, who's going to be the first to break the ice here? Is Parker going to be like, so? Or are we going to confront her with it? Care to explain yourself now? My question isn't posed to Naomi, but the person pretending to be her. Why, my name is Hitsuji Naomi, a lovely, blossoming high school freshman. My primary hobby is reading, and although I can be a bit shy, I am kind and earnest. Although I doubt you two can bring yourselves to believe such a claim. Ah, here we go. Let's drop the pretense, shall we? The mimic giggles at its own comment. The mimic. I like that. Maharu and I grow even more wary, but the stranger has more to say. I tease. Please accept my apologies. Trust me, though, I am no enemy of yours. Is this Linda? I don't see how. But if it's Parka, then she is an enemy. How is this happening? It's not Leth, I don't think. My true name is Diana Harrison. I have taken the liberty of borrowing Hitsuji Naomi's body for the time being. Okay, so it's Diana. But is it Parka? Wait, you're not Parka? Maharu asks the question that is on the tip of my tongue. Exactly. Wasn't Diana said to have turned into Parka after her death? Leth's explanation suddenly comes to mind. Leth said he took away Diana's memories. Does that mean you're... Rather astute conjecture, my dear. Interesting. Okay. So now we have good Parka and evil Parka. I represent the memories Leth removed from Parka after their transformation. Naomi's body currently serves as an intermediary for the personality in which those memories are found. Albeit temporarily. So is she going to help us out here? So the Parka we know from the dream world and you are two separate entities, correct? Indeed. I'm neither spirit nor ghost, so please refrain from making the assumption that I have possessed your friend. Although I have totally possessed your friend. My memories have simply been filtered into her personality, allowing her to become Diana. Okay, so this isn't so much possession. This is actually analogous to something I would do. Like if I give someone amnesia for their own name and then make them think their name is Rumpelstiltskin. Which is fun, by the way. So Diana has essentially just... Basically, the whole problem with Naomi, that she's got conflicting memories, Diana has just sort of swept that aside for the moment and just like, here's my memories, have fun for a bit. I'd be lying if I said I understand. Just tell me this, is Naomi okay? I stare right into Naomi's, or rather Diana's, eyes. I don't care about her identity right now. Naomi's safety is my top priority. Allow me to be honest. She was in a perilous state before my awakening. Why, you... However, I can also say that she is very much safe in this current situation. Did Leth have something to do with this? Diana answers with a nod. However, a hint of sadness colors her expression as she continues. I would rather not tarnish his image, so allow me to explain things in order. I, as Naomi, was reading the diary that Rinka allowed me to borrow. Ah, here we go. What was in here? Doing so, in essence, dug up certain memories that had been overwritten by divine selection. The burden forced upon her by those memories caused her to lose consciousness. While I don't understand it, she seems to think that this is an apt comparison. Imagine, if you will, a computer that is crashed by storing more data on it than it can contain. I don't understand how this analogy works, but for some reason it feels comfortable coming out of my mouth, and therefore it feels like something Naomi would say, and she's probably right. That is what happened to her. So her brain crashed? She replies with another nod and then continues. Leo, Leth, had two options in order to save her. Oh, so he did do something. The first was to completely embrace her memories of divine selection. The second was to lend a portion of his power to her until you succeed in eliminating Parka. Fate will be locked in place until the moment you do so. Following that, all that's required is to rid Naomi of her memories of the altered world. It would allow her to retain those memories of the time spent with you while not placing any burden on her. Why is Leth so keen on helping her? Ah, allow me to keep that a secret. Leo's quite the shy pussy, you see. I don't need to hear about his shy pussy. I already know the answer to Haru's question. He just wants us to be happy. Nothing more, nothing less. Naomi was posed with the question of whether or not she would be willing to lose her memories of divine selection. She showed no hesitation in her desire to retain them. However, Leo cannot lend his powers unconditionally. Temporary as it may be, lending his powers to a mortal no doubt conflicts with his own rules. Hence, a restriction and a risk accompanied his choice. His power would be hers, but only if she accepted Diana's memories along with it. The burden that comes with doing so serves as the risk, while the restriction would be placed on her personality. Any traits of her own personality will be filtered through me so long as this power is available to her. So you're telling me that she was given even more memories to deal with? Wouldn't that just make things worse? Quite so. Losing her life wasn't out of the question. A fact that Leo made sure to explain in detail, of course. Even so, Naomi's determination remained steadfast. Abandoning her memories of the time spent with you during divine selection was not an option. Leo himself had no idea she could bear the burden, I feel. Yet, he placed his faith in her, much like she had in you. Looks like she succeeded, judging by the results. She did indeed. Not much is obvious, considering she regained consciousness. The issue is whether or not she'll regain her original personality, though. I press her to answer me. Worry not, myself and Parka are one and the same, so her elimination entails my own. All shall return to normal for Naomi after that. As mentioned earlier, her memories of the altered world will be erased alongside my own. So, Diana, on the topic of regrets, this will provide her relief from the burden that previously plagued her. Let's say for argument's sake that Parka succeeds and takes Rinka's body. What happens then? Oh? I was given the impression that neither of you spared nary a thought for such an outcome. Fair enough. She's right, isn't she, Rinka? Yeah, losing isn't an option for us. Splendid! As you know, personal perception plays a key part in the world's structure. Thus, conviction in a certain outcome makes it more likely to come to pass. Not untrue. Now then, I assume you've both come to realize Leo's true intentions behind granting Naomi my memories. Must be to learn the regret. Both of us nod in sync. There's no way we wouldn't know at this point. We're missing one last piece of the puzzle in order to elect Parka. Yep. So, Diana, your regret. You mind? Getting to the bottom of that won't be an issue with... I do look ever so forward to seeing what modern Japan has to offer. Sorry? Satisfy my curiosity, and my regret shall be a reward. Are we having another Sonya situation here? Not to be rude, but this sounds awfully similar to what Parka's trying to accomplish. Come, I was once human after all. Rinka should know plenty about me after perusing my oh-so-personal diary. Naomi stands, pinches her skirt, and curtsies. Exactly like how Parka does it. Really? We're going to take Naomi to Tokyo Tower and the zoo and the aquarium and stuff before she tells us the card? I breathe a sigh of relief once I'm alone in my room. Things sure did escalate, but the important part is that Naomi's okay. This is getting interesting. What's more, we now have a surefire way to learn Parka's regret. Diana said that Naomi accepted the most dangerous option of her own will. Can't say I find that hard to believe. She always was against the idea of losing her memories of the time she spent with us. It'll work out. I hope. Adjust my mic real quick. There. There's no doubt that Leth altered her memories at the time. The only reason he didn't do so completely was out of respect of Naomi's will. He shouldered the responsibility that comes with it, despite owing us nothing, too. I'm the one that owes him, if anything. Just then I hear something thud against my door. Leth? I'm guessing it's Leth. The door's half open, so it should saunter in soon. Or so I think, but there's no sign of it. What's up? Leth? I open the door, figuring something's up. Is Leth hurt, sick, dying? As a result, and I'm right on the mark. Leth has collapsed right by my door. Aha! I wondered about that. Leth! Oh dear. I scoop it up in a panic and gently set it down on my pillow. I grab a bowl of water as well and place it by its side. Its voice sounds so weak compared to usual. I can tell it isn't doing well just from a glance. Should I take you to the hospital? It shakes its head in response. I can assume that means no, considering it should be able to understand me. Do I have my book? Does it teach me to speak cat? Normally I'd guess it's sick, but that can't be the case here. Instead, I think back to what Diana discussed. Leth split part of his power with Naomi. The same power he's been using to stay alive for so long. I can only assume that he, both in cat and human form, grows weaker the less of it he has available. Thanks, Leth. I can tell this isn't easy for you. That said, I collapse onto my bed. This really serves to remind me how much I've been entrusted with. Only got a couple more days. Just gotta take Diane Naomi to the circus, or whatever. Saturday morning. My original plan was to open the store, but that won't be happening now. Yeah, we've got a mission. Mainly because we need to show Diana around modern-day Tokyo. Oh my god, this is gonna be weird. Diana is from like 100 years ago or more in Britain. Leth's still recuperating on a cushion, and I've made sure it has plenty of water and food nearby. I'd rather not leave it alone, but it seems more concerned with us and Diana than itself. It's not the first time we've had to show someone who doesn't know much about the world around. Yep, Sonia. It helps that Sonia had a number of places in mind when we showed her around. Is there anywhere specific you want to go, Diana? The subway may tickle my fancy. Just the regular old subway? I mean, show her technology. She's going to be just thrilled by it. Oh, right. It wasn't until 1927 that the Ginza line became available. Even then, it ran only between Asakusa and Ueno. Asakusa and Ueno. I hope I'm saying those things right. Ginza. That should be right. According to her diary, Diana died somewhere around 1910. It makes sense that she'd find mystique in things we take for granted. She seemed pretty amazed by everything when we met up here, now that I think about it. The automatic gates, vending machines, the number of trains, and even the building itself. Her ability to buy tickets and make her way around town must be due to being in Naomi's body. May as well head to Asakusa if we're using the subway. There's plenty of new stuff there, like the Skytree. Tokyo Tower may be better in that case. Both have observatories, and were built after her time, but Tokyo Tower is probably the ideal way to get a look at modern Tokyo. Well, you're not wrong, I guess. I don't have particularly fond memories of that place, thanks to what happened last month. Yeah, no kidding. Not like Yu's attack on it even happened in this world. Maybe I'm just overthinking things. I appreciate this. Arigatou gozaimasu. I leave the decision to the both of you. I must admit, the very notion of walking around in an era after my time is exciting in and of itself. She flashes us a lovely, carefree smile. It's weird to be spending the day with, essentially, parka. I know it's not parka, but at the same time it is parka. She's in Naomi's body, but I'm reminded more of parka. I'm sure she'd be able to smile like that as well if you erase that malicious side to her. Technically, she does smile that way, just when something bad happens. After we wrap up the Asakusa tour, we make our way to Tokyo Tower. Both areas are packed, of course. The Skytree and Senshoji Temple were our main destinations in Asakusa. We stopped by a local market to grab some melon bread, too. I'm reminded of the fact that they built the Ark here during my younger days. Her statement strikes me as odd at first. The Kaminaraman was built in the Heian period from what I remember. I looked into it later, though. Turns out it burned down in 1865, and then they spent some time after that building a new one. Mahara wasn't aware of this either, but then Diana surprises us even more by telling us the Ark was built toward the end of the Russo-Japanese War. I don't know if Naomi knows all this or not, but it feels like something worth telling her when she's back. The height certainly lacks something in comparison to the Skytree. Diana makes her opinion clear while looking down at the city from the observatory. While I agree that doing things in the reverse order would have been better, I'm not sure how to feel about being told that after paying the hefty entrance fee. There's a certain scene you should remember, though, that of Tokyo after being bombed during World War II. I've only seen pictures myself, but I'm sure there's meaning behind the construction of a massive red tower in the middle of all the devastation. Huh. The events of previous divine selections are unknown to me, but I must assume that countless were held during that time. Though anyone who survived them wouldn't last much longer after doing so. The only thing fate has in store for soldiers on the battlefield is death, after all. Diana's eyes narrow as she stares out the window. We're currently participating in the 12th Divine Selection. The fact that we've reached that number, despite it only being 100-ish years since Diana's death, isn't normal. That'd make one Divine Selection every 10 years, yeah. Those earlier ones must have been even more recent, because technically it'd be less than 10 years for 100 divided by 12. But Maharu especially, she's 17 years old. So that would crunch it down even more for some people. Discomforting as it is, it'd make sense if what she said is true. What, more Divine Selections when there's wars going on? People must never become accustomed to sights such as that. What we see now is the result of countless people's efforts. Cities aren't born out of thin air. Diana's soft tone reminds us of that. Ah, there's that weird music transition again. Get that song out of my ear. Our final destination for the day is the National Park in Shinjuku. The final destination in more ways than one. Yep. I heard Fox McCloud was here. It's also where everything began for me. Likewise, Naomi seems to have no memory of... Naomi seems to have no memories of that, so allow me to pretend that I heard nothing. I tilt my head in confusion, to which Diana responds with a sigh. This place opened in 1906, if I remember. Did you ever remember coming here before? Alas, common citizens such as myself weren't permitted entry at the time. I thought Diana was from Britain. Is that not the case? Having this opportunity to enter has me rather giddy. Actually, yeah, it would have to be Britain, because we've talked about that before. It's why the diary is in English. Traditional Japanese gardens offer quite a different experience from the style seen in English and French ones. In an ideal world, I would have the opportunity to witness how this place changes with the seasons. Saying that, she attempts to flip her hair out into the wind, which doesn't exist. She quickly realizes that Naomi's hair isn't long enough, leading her to place her hand behind her ear instead. Oh, goodness, I shouldn't even exist in this time period, yet here I am thinking of this as my own body. I take a moment to come up with a good response. I'd say it's fate that you're here at the moment. Neither say anything in turn. Can't blame them. No one can say that with certainty. The same might even apply for Leth and Parka. We spend a while walking around the park until closing time after that. Is this still Saturday? It is. My body makes sure to remind me just how much I've walked today when I get back to my room. It was a pretty busy day, all things considered. We took practically the same route as we did with Sonia, but that didn't make it any easier, especially with so many people around. Maharu's working tomorrow, which means I'll be taking Diana over there, obviously. We'll get you some magic pancakes, Diana. Wait till you see this side of Japanese culture. You'll love it. I've been there with Naomi before, but never with Diana. Seems like she's taken an interest in the eccentric side of modern Japanese culture. I'd rather stay as far from there as possible, but I've got little choice now that she wants to go. Yep, it's the Sonia situation all over again. Make me magic pancakes! No point in staying up any longer, so I set my alarm and get ready to sleep. Where's Naomi sleeping exactly? As for Leth, it still doesn't look good. Come on, just live one more day for me, buddy. I just can't wait for the I elect number 13 moment. That's going to be a scene. That's going to be a mood. Having met up with Diana at Akibahara Station, we make our way to the Maid Cafe. It's kind of amazing that someone from 100 years ago can even find their way to the station. The streets are as busy as expected. This used to be a pretty big pedestrian zone back in the day, but that ended after a certain tragic incident. What incident is that? Is that when the train bombing happened? Each and every person we pass has their own lives, their own stories. Diana reminds me of this fact, one that's easy to forget on our way. Welcome home, milady. I don't need to remind you which menu item is absolutely off limits, do I, Rinka? But we have to show Diana the sights. She needs the experiences of come on. No, we're here for one reason and one reason only. Well, at least she didn't tell us to leave forever. Oh, my curiosity is piqued. Exactly. Where is it? No, we really shouldn't. Just watch the other maids instead. That should suffice. Well, if you say so. There will be no repeats of what happened when I was here with Sonia. Yeah, not to mention when Federico and Scale ordered it. Never again will I subject myself to such an awkward situation. I mean, technically it never happened, because Sonia was never here. Well, I mean, What Maharu was doing was really cute, but everything afterwards was too much. I order a coffee for myself and some hot chocolate for Diana. Maid cafes are, of course, all about the maids, and when you think of proper maids, England comes to mind. That leads me to ask Diana about something. Did you have maids at your house back then? We did indeed. My father was rather wealthy, so we lived in a Western-style house. Some came to Japan along with my parents, while others were hired after our arrival. Oh yeah, that's right. Didn't your father... Yeah, because her father was a clockmaker. Did she actually come to Japan and that's where the accident happened? I need to go back and revisit that timeline. I know they're originally from England, but they moved here. I'm assuming that's when the fire was, although it could have been after. Their outfits weren't quite as bold as Maharu's, however. A number of them passed away before my own death, alas. I nod in silent response. There's no need for apologizing for it, so instead I changed the subject. Oh yeah, I meant to ask, how was it at Naomi's place? What with you speaking nothing like her and all? Worry not, I made every effort to imitate her whilst at her home. Her response is so out of left field that I'm left staring at her in response. I want to see you try that. I want you to hunch over and put your fingers together and say meek things with stutters, and fall over at least 3 things before we leave. She seems to have been hoping for as much, judging by her mischievous giggle. Doing so is rather exhausting, though, so please allow me to be myself for now. Sure, whatever. This is not a plot situation I ever would have expected, us escorting a possessed Naomi around. Boy, this girl has been through some stuff during this game, jeez. This could be akin to a third death, almost. I'd rather she do that. I can only imagine how weird it'd be to hear her talk like Naomi despite the huge personality gap. I mean, it's weird enough already. 1 coffee and 1 hot chocolate. Maharu, clearly in work mode, brings us our order. After thanking her, we stick around until her shift's over. Phew! I think it's safe to say I had a splendid time. Well, that's good to frickin' hear, because we got stuff to get out of you. Diana breathes a sigh of joy once back at the station. I wonder what her regret's gonna be. Is it gonna be something obvious or really, really out of left field? I mean, it's gotta be something out of left field if we were unable to discern it from just sitting around brainstorming it. Diana breathes a sigh of joy once back at the station. We made our way to Ueno once Maharu gets off work, mainly to go to the zoo and National Museum there. Oh, we have been busy. The only issue is that we start in the afternoon, which means we have to rush. Diana seems satisfied, though. At the same time, this is likely to be her final experience in the modern day. We have time for one more place if we get moving right away. We have time to talk about cards. Come on. Worry not, this will do. There's only so much happiness I can wish for when taking my situation into consideration. Okay, thank you for being reasonable. More importantly, do heed a selfish wish from a selfless lady and escort Naomi to places elsewhere when you can. We will. Let's head back to Lion House then. Silence ensues as we wait for the train to arrive. Sunday night finally rears its head. Well, it's time for the final ending, the final elimination. What's going to be the aftermath of this? Will we free Parka? What will happen as Parka's actions get undone? Will a whole bunch of things snap too? Will we actually get our parents back? That would be, I think, a little too much. But considering the goings-ons, I mean... at least I hope Leth will be okay. Tonight marks the end of the final round of Divine Selection. Myself, Maharu, and Diana are all at Lion House. We're sitting at the usual table. First and foremost, allow me the pleasure of thanking you both. I had such a wonderful time these past few days. You're welcome. I'm sure Naomi would be happy to know you enjoyed yourself. You said you're different from the Diana we know as Parka, but I honestly think I'm struggling to tell the difference. Oh, that's news to me. She giggles at first and holds a smile. Well, the time has come. Allow me to hand the final piece of the puzzle to you. Wait a minute. I notice a certain cat limping toward us, looking much thinner than usual. It must have realized what's about to happen. I make my way over and pick it up, placing it under the table. Yep, it's the ideal spot for Leth to sit. We have a curious cat among us, I see. Diana bends down and pets it. A certain tenderness coats her expression as she does so. One Naomi has never shown before. I can only imagine that Diana would pat Leo like this when she were alive. Does she not realize this is Leo? Now then, let us discuss my regret. And thus commences the curtain call on my fate. Am I going to find out what it is? Or we're going to find out when we present... Oh, we're not going to know it for now. Midnight is mere moments away. I have the card. Maharu and Diana agree to stay with me tonight. Leth gets to join us too, of course. Also, we can see each other again in the morning. Now, we're going to raid Parka's place and kick her ass. It's a shame that Naomi cannot emerge from me at this point. She can tomorrow at least, right? Indeed. While I may have my regret, I have no attachment to life itself. My fate came to a close long ago. Meeting a descendant of Linda has been something of a relief, though. Now I know that she was able to live a happy life despite being my first vessel. She did. She makes the same tender expression from before. We didn't spend much time together, but I've grown incredibly fond of her. Maybe because she's in Naomi's body. Yeah, maybe because it's a face I don't mind. Boy, remember when Diana first showed up and we were like, what the hell is Parka doing here? Okay, we're okay now. We're cool. We're buds. But parting ways hurts, but I'll never forget her. I never anticipated a night like this would come to pass back when Divine Selection began. At first I was focused on my own survival, but my priorities shifted after seeing you in the Court of Fate. Let me be honest. I was planning on letting you elect me had you given me a proper response to my confession, regardless of what it was. Oh, we know. Oh, we know. We know. We have the video evidence of it. I figured as much. Yeah, now you figured as much. Psy'Min figured as much off the bat, but you still voted her up because you're a dumbass. That's not the case anymore, though. Not just because I want to hear your response. I've come to understand the inherent value that comes with wishing for my own survival. Maharu's statement makes me see her in a whole different light. I give her a tiny nod after basking in the radiance of her smile for a moment. I've come to learn a lot during all this, too. I've been entrusted with plenty. There was a time when you two, Mao, and my gran were the only people that mattered to me. I had no interest in anything other than Linehouse and school. The things I cherish now are things I never would have considered back then. I better understand how much the world has to offer, even if only a little. Most importantly, though, I've come to understand and accept who I am. I see myself as something of an unstable existence, to the point where I'm worried I might just disappear altogether if I'm not with someone. But even so, I want to live. I know I'm not alone. That's why I want to live. I want to keep on living. Keep on experiencing precious moments in my daily life, together with those I know. Leth will be okay, hopefully. Leth lets out a meek groan. It's stretching its front legs in the air despite its current state. Thanks, Leth. That is certainly one way to bolster morale. We should do something, too. Let's hold hands. Well, shouldn't you lie down? You're about to collapse and go to Court of Fate town. Maharu grabs my hand before I can answer. I grab Naomi's in response, and she in turn grabs Maharu's. One body, yet two individual wills are contained within it. Makes sense. We lie down and form a circle before closing our eyes. Okay, there we go. See you both tomorrow. We don't need to do anything fancy or cool. All we have to do is believe. We're going to say, I vote number 13, and Parker's going to be like, wait a minute. 1, 2, 3. She starts counting the clock. Wait a minute. I don't think you can do that. Sleep eventually takes us. Our hands still joined. This is going to be a response. It's time for the reaction. Is she aware of what's been happening? I glance around the Court of Fate. Again, I don't know how much Parka understands or observes or cares about what goes on in the outside world. Does she just, slip from Sunday to Sunday? This marks the 12th time I've come here. The sight that greets me is one that I've become accustomed to. A number of gears float amidst an infinite darkness. I gaze up and notice a faint ray of life. A faint ray of light. Piercing said darkness. The circular platform I'm on is about 3 meters in diameter. A witness stand, like one you'd see in court, is attached. This is just one of 12 platforms, all of which are arranged within a larger circular pattern, like a clock face. In the center of those concentric circles are massive clock hands, slowly ticking away. Again, the iconography here can kind of make sense if Diana's father was a clockmaker, because this isn't just some decree from on high. This is something that was influenced by the way Diana died, and indeed Diana herself, so there could be some reason for that. There was a time when 12 of us were gathered here together, but now there are only 2 of us, Maharu and myself. I turn to face Maharu in the endless darkness. time's finally come. Indeed. Needless to say, Naomi and Leth aren't here with us. Well, Diana's here with you. The Court of Fate is a place reserved solely for participants. They may have a special power of their own, but it's irrelevant in this place. It wouldn't matter if it was. We're the ones who need to settle things with Parka, not them. Good evening, my lovely little slaves to fate. She's just on autopilot because she's lost her memories. Like, I'm not sure if I should feel bad for Parka or what. She's an interesting anomaly. The girl in question wastes no time in entering the scene, accompanied by her usual haughty tone. The goddess is all smiles like always. Pardon me, perhaps there's no need to make such a grand entrance when only two of you remain. Oh, if only you knew how much it pains me to part ways with one of you tonight. Oh, it's gonna pain you in ways, you don't even know. Do allow me the pleasure of bearing witness to the conclusion you have reached. Mind if I ask something first? What might that be? Can you see what fate has in store for us beyond this point? If it's all predetermined, then what was the point in all this? A fine question, very well. If it's answers you seek, then answers I shall provide. The way in which I see and understand fate differs greatly from you. I observe a number of potential outcomes simultaneously. Let us say, for example, that all 12 of you were still present. In that case, I would see individual futures where each of you arrived at the first destination, or the final destination. You'd be seeing right now. Indeed, one where numeral 1 reaches your final destination, and one where you do. One of those outcomes will separate itself from the primary flow upon your elimination. Here we go again with the primary flow talk. Fortunately, I understand the implications thanks to her explanation last time. The world as it is right now is in a state of disorder. Yeah, mostly caused by her. Only by removing one more potential future can it return to normal. Yeah, one in particular. Thanks. You've helped me confirm that there are outcomes even you can't see. Oh? I hesitate to ask, but do you even have a brain? Or are you being dense on purpose? You or numeral 1's elimination. Those are the only two possibilities that exist here. Even should you choose not to settle things yourselves, that just ensures numeral 1's position as the final survivor. She doesn't believe for a second that she's wrong. Yeah, again, we're gonna bust out this card and Parga's gonna be like, Kiska fuck? I shake my head at her before responding. Forget all that then. This is the final election, let's get it over with. Agreed! Revolve, oh clock of fate! Parka, you have no idea what's coming. The Court of Fate rumbles, prompting the clock hand to move. Will there be an election on your part, numeral 1? She stares me down while posing her question. Her eyes are crystal clear. And purple, not yellow. This is probably how Diana looked when she was still alive. It suits her high-class image rather well. And it helps reaffirm that Parka really is nothing more than a girl. A girl who wished to live. A girl whose wish resonated with something in our world. A girl estranged from the concept of fate, yet inextricably bound by it. How will you respond? She urges me to answer once more. And my answer is obvious. After a brief moment of reflection, I state my intentions. Here we go. There will be. Let's end it here. Not just this round of divine selection, not just divine selection as a whole, but the suffering you've had to endure by the hand of fate itself. Goddess of Fate, Parka, Diana Harrison, I elect you. My eyes remain locked on her as I announce my election. What? You idiot? Elect me? Come now, that isn't an option. Besides, I am Parka, Goddess of Fate, not this Diana Harrison you refer to. Her usual smile has been wiped right off her face for once. It's not? Ah, so you're in on the shenanigan as well. This entire situation has blasphemy written all over it, my dears. Parka being unfazed in the face of this leads to further panic on my part. We have all her cards. All that's left is to elect her. Yeah, but she's still the one that runs the elections. Leth said that he took Diana's memories from Parka. Is that why? Wait, no. He's never too clear about what he says, but he always makes sure to leave a hint in there. Much like he did while restoring my memories. Credit where credit is due, of course. You had a clear and concise path and tried to carry it out without hesitation. Might I assume that you caught on to my true objective? I give Parka a nod. Shaken as I am in the face of this, I can't show any fear now. Maharu's showing no sign of concern herself. I'm very keen on taking your body as my own. You and I seem to share the same essence. The affinity I feel toward you is unlike what I've experienced from other participants. Your existence is one warped by fate, much like my own. In other words, you were born with the same power as I, albeit a tiny amount. Most of all, however, is that brilliant heart of yours, one truly worthy of being the final survivor. What say you, Normeryl 2? Will you elect her? I mean, we have your cards. You can't ignore us. Not even you could fish up a world where I say yes to that. Scale did. Hee, that leaves us with no one capable of carrying out an election. I have your cards, bitch. Parka's voice echoes throughout the Court of Fate. The grin on her face is one of pure evil. As stated before, numeral 1 will remain as the sole survivor by default. Saying that, she stops the clock and makes her way to the center of the Court of Fate. Once there, she pinches her skirt and curtsies. I hereby declare divine selection to be... Uh-oh. Oh? You naughty child. Weren't you taught to follow proper protocol when elected? Yeah, I mean, you have to go up. You may not think we have your cards or whatever, but a voice ever so similar to Parka's, yet inherently different, makes its presence known. Oh, well, hello. Good evening, my elegant and haughty self. In front of Parka appears none other than Diana. I didn't even notice her arrival. Two girls with identical faces, although Diana's expression is much more stern. Oh, Parka's finally been knocked for a loop here. What? The tone of her voice says it all. She's shaken. This is the first time she's ever shown this side of herself. Who are you? Why are you in my Court of Fate? A little birdie told me that this place was never really mine to begin with. In fact, the Court of Fate was given to me as a means to carry out the system known as divine selection. You speak nonsense. Even if another goddess were to exist, this domain remains mine. No one may enter without my permission. Well, I just did. Oh, you're quite right. That's why I gave myself permission. I am Parka, and I am a smartass, even when I'm Diana. Parka stares at Diana in disbelief. So are we going to vote out Diana, and Parka's going to have to preside over it? I wondered how Parka would preside over her own election. But now we have someone to vote out, and that's probably going to have the same effect, even though Parka's not going to like it. She probably can't begin to fathom what's going on right now due to her lack of memories. What's more, she has to be feeling a strange sense of familiarity with Diana, much more than the one she feels with me. Am I to take it that we are one and the same? Indeed, I am thou, thou art I. I am your persona. Born at different times, but equal nonetheless. Equal? You would do best not to forget your place, child. A kind and compassionate goddess I am not. Take your leave or else. Parka reaches out toward Diana, who simply shakes her head. There's no smile on her face. If anything, it looks like she feels pity for her. Worry not. I carry every intention of doing so. However, I'm afraid you will be joining me. Neither of us have any right to exist in this world any longer. Diana extends her own hand. The palms of their hands make contact. What are you? Let us return to being one. We must accept what is to come. Their fate. A bright light envelops them both. Ha! Okay, are we finally seeing the complete all of her memories? Parka, good evening. I've come to face my true fate. Are you okay with getting elected out now, like everyone else who just rolls over and gets elected? Parka emerges from it. The change wasn't worth all the theatrics, really. She's still not wearing a parka. In an instant, Parka's forgotten memories of Diana flowed back into her. She's still very much Parka on the outside, but there's something different about her. That's not the Parka we know, is it? Diana said they returned to being one, so she must have given Parka all her memories. It's strange. I never realized just how painful memories could be until now. I don't know who she's referring to. All I can say is that she looks upset over whatever she remembers. A moment of silence follows as she closes her eyes, almost as if to control her emotions. What she's thinking is anyone's guess. She takes a deep breath once done and then proceeds with her announcement. Numeral 1 and myself, allow me to begin the election procedure. My platform begins to move in response, just like in previous elections. Time for me to settle things. Yes, I have something to say to Parka, or rather Diana, before you do, though. We've been together ever since I can remember. We never became close, let alone friends, but I'm sure you were necessary to me. Things never would have ended up the way they did for me without you. I doubt we'll ever meet again, but allow me to say this nonetheless. Think of it as my own magic phrase. See you next time. Thank you. Farewell for now. I have a feeling, like, when this is resolved, it would be very weird for Diana to show up as a permanent resident of the real world. Her life is tied to the past, obviously. So I'm pretty sure she's gonzo's. The question is, what gets undone by this? Because there's been 12 divine selections that have occurred. We're going to come back and Tokyo is going to be getting run by lizard people or something. We've already begun moving by the time Maharu finishes saying her piece. Kind of hard to believe that we've reached this stage, huh? We've arrived at the upper stratum of the Court of Fate. I'm the only one standing on a platform this time. Parka's standing on nothing at all, as always. She's even taking a big stretch. It comes as quite the shock for me. Who knew I had so many memories? I always thought I was a mere system put in place to ensure my own survival. That wasn't quite the case, though. A system with no emotions would never attempt to take your body for its own. Perhaps I should have realized that my human nature the moment such a desire sprouted within me. I have a question. What'll happen to us after your elimination? I see Leo skipped over that part of his explanation. Both yourself and numeral 2 will remain upon my elimination. That being said, the world will attempt to ensure that only you survive following that. Uh-oh. That doesn't make me happy. Can we try to change that? Do not fret, though. You have the power to cause a single miracle. Okay, I was wondering if that was going to come into play, because we learned about that in another timeline. Fragments of what people have felt and experienced are gathered in the Court of Fate as a form of energy. Had things proceeded as normal, I would have used that energy provided by the 11 eliminated participants to turn the soul survival into a vessel for me. My elimination assures that won't come to fruition, of course, thus leaving all that energy unused. Instead, I would like for you to make use of it. Make it so that this world, one where numeral 2's death has been undone, becomes part of the primary flow. Use that energy to alter fate. While it may be impossible to bring back a world that is split from the primary flow, that has yet to occur tonight. A power that allows me to exist within the real world should have no trouble merging two intersecting worlds into one primary flow. Of course, we can't forget the role that perception plays in the world's existence. Myself and Leo, not to mention Naomi and Mao, are thinking of a future where both of you are still alive. You aren't alone in that regard. A simple push is all that's needed to alter fate. Though the idea of pushing a concept may sound odd. So I just need to wish for it. Indeed, you will become the closest thing to a goddess in this realm upon my erasure. When all is said and done, this place remains a facet of your dreams. Your perception can easily change the world. My mic just fell over. Why did it do that? Get back up here. So please, wish for the world that you desire the most. Could we not do that again? That'll do. Now seems like a good time to continue with your election. Parting ways may become too difficult if we talk any longer. I nodded her and opened up my card book. What was the regret? We still don't know it. We're about to find out. This is probably the last time I'll see this book. Yeah, actually, just like the motif might have been born from the father being a clockmaker, the book was created from the diary. All the cards I've acquired this far flowed out from within it. It's been a long road. So very, very long. Your name is Diana Harrison. Yes, I may have become Parka, but that name still feels the most appropriate for me. It is the name given to me by my father, one I treasure dearly. Poison was your cause of death. It pains me to even think back on those events. Linda must have been heartbroken over her inability to save me. I never once resented her for it. Even in those final moments, I wished for naught but her happiness. Both their mother and Linda had no option but to abandon Diana, their own flesh and blood. I can't begin to imagine how much of a relief it would be for them to hear her say that. Your regret comes from a desire to redo your life. Oh, maybe she does get to come back to the present. Quite so. Diana herself made this known to us, the desires fueled by her thoughts toward those who had passed away. Diana was a special girl. She told us about how she felt personally responsible for the deaths of those 11 people. Again, I don't know how that went about. Her desire to live was what caused them to face the fate originally intended for her. A time came when she was unable to escape it any longer, though. Still, she was able to live on through twisting that same inescapable fate. I had one desire during my final moments, to redo my life and accept what fate had in store for me at the time. Leth may have taken your memories, but that one desire remained within you. That's why you wanted to take my body and live your life. Correct you are. While I wished for my own survival, I never wanted others to die. A selfish slave to fate. That is Diana Harrison. Oh my god, an English name that actually sounds English. I just caught on to that. My cards make their way between myself and Parka, emitting light along the way. Allow me to apologize for everything before I go. I really should have been wearing a parka this whole time. There's no need for you, Diana, to apologize. Oh? You may not have realized it, but you've long since been forgiven. Are you sure about that? I've made countless people suffer under the false pretense of hope given to them as Parka. I can't speak for the others, but you're no different from me. You just wanted to live. That's been my wish all along. A wish so simple, so obvious, no matter who you may be. Leo was who asked you to save me, wasn't he? How bold of him. Regardless, I never anticipated hearing that from you right at the very end. Would that I could cry tears of joy. Liar. You're not supposed to say that until you actually cry. Goodness, there's that threatening side of you. Do try to keep it an appearances-only trait. Light begins to engulf the court of fate. I'm sure this is the right thing to do. Saving someone so far beyond my capabilities. What I could do is come to know them and give them all I can. Yeah, I guess we get to remember Diana possibly in even better detail than we remember everyone else, considering we spent that week reading her diary. Thank you for everything. Arigatou gozaimasu. I'm the one who chose to part ways with you, but you're thanking me. You have no idea how much of a relief that is. Back to burning in a fire. Rinka's natural habitat. Yep, we're here again. I find myself in a sea of flames once more. God, this is getting really familiar. A scene I've witnessed countless times by now. No kidding. Ironically enough, this is where it all started for me. Diana, Parka. They're no longer around to hear me mutter their names. I can only assume they've returned to their original fate and faced their death from long ago. They were never inhabitants of the real world, so nothing should have been altered following their elimination. Well, I mean, they were inhabitants of the real world from 100 years ago. You could end up undoing a century of history. Part of me considered the possibility of Parka's actions all being undone, but I don't see that being the case. Seems like I was right. The divine selection itself would have been undone if things played out like that. Exactly. But I'm still here in the court of fate, which proves my point. That's good. I mean, I'm guessing all the energy from all the people that have already been killed have just done their best to oppose the counterforce, and we're just really undoing the most recent stuff. My relationship with Maharu, Naomi, and Mao would have changed in that case. I should go. My platform begins to descend in accordance with my thoughts. Yeah, I'm the one in charge now. I'm the goddess. Ah, it's my court of fate now. I still have one last thing to do. Stand in the middle and curtsy. Oh, my God. No. Plans have changed. Things are very different than what I was expecting. Maharu is probably panicking, pinching herself. Wake up, please wake up. Everything was supposed to go well after this. I'd return to the lower stratum after seeing Parka off, and then use the energy there to alter fate just like she told me to. That's how it was supposed to go. What the hell? Fate doesn't have the capability to be kind, though. Black flames besieged the lower stratum upon my return. Where's Maharu? Maharu! Maharu seems to have stayed put while I was gone. Rather, well, she had no choice but to do so. We have no freedom of movement here. It doesn't apply to my current state, though. I take a page out of Parka's book and run across the abyss toward Miharu's platform. Rinka! She's been at the mercy of the black flames. The damage isn't to her body, but to her soul. Oh, damn. I'm able to tell Miharu's condition, despite the lack of physical damage. It proves Parka's claim that I've become the closest thing to a goddess here upon her elimination. Over there. Sounding ever so weak, she points toward the center of the Court of Fate. That's where the source of the flame seems to be. Oh, damn. Diana's burning alive. That's not cool. There sits a girl, wailing in pain. She's holding her head while sobbing, her throat roasted beyond repair. What's going on? Parka's still here. There's no doubt that I eliminated her. I saw her final moments with my own eyes. She would have told me if there was any special exceptions due to her status as a goddess. I don't understand. The flames came out of nowhere and... Sorry. It's fine. Don't force yourself to talk. Her condition is similar to when someone inhales too much smoke during a fire. It sounds like her lungs are giving her trouble. Those flames are bad news. That's the one thing clear to me in this situation. I mean, maybe we can't be affected by it, but still, what do we do? Meanwhile, Parka sits at the center of it. I need to save her. My body moves before I can think. Running on absolutely nothing is frightening, but I make my way to the center regardless. Parka's small enough that I should be able to carry her on my back. I need to get her away from there, first and foremost. Are we just going to jump off the edge? I take her over to Miharu's platform. There's no heat to the flames, so I should be able to make contact with them if it's brief. I mean, there's no heat to you. Bringing her over to Miharu may kill her. I need to do this as fast as possible, leading me to get as close to her as I can. Yeah, she's not in her happy place. Parka continues to cower and wail. Seeing her in pain, I hug her. It's okay. You're gonna be fine. She really does resemble a girl stuck in an actual fire. It's like Diana's death. The situation closely resembles it if you ignore the place and the color of the flames and the fact we're in a magic clockwork land. I have no intention of abandoning her, though. I'll do everything I can to save her. Parka seems completely unaware of my voice, though. She continues to cower in fear, refusing to budge. Oh, hey, you're here. Ah, you seem to be... I do say, chaps, you seem to be in a spot of bother. Leth, why are you here? This is the first time I've been able to speak with the human Leth. That doesn't matter right now. I've come to view my own disappearance, I'm afraid. Using my connection to Parka and her erasure is the only way to accomplish that. I'll do everything I can to assist you before that, though. Leth knows far more about the dream world than I do, so his timing is perfect. There's no one I can rely on more than him right now. First things first, you should get away from her. He speaks in a calm and composed demeanor. She is indeed the source of the black flames consuming this place. But you have every intention of saving her, don't you? I can only assume you think she's the same Diana you've come to know. Get to the point! Apologies. She may be indeed be Diana, but one you're entirely unfamiliar with. I told you once before about how I took most of Parka's memories. Well, most is the key word. I left the bare minimum of memories there in order for her to remain as Diana. In other words, you can think of her as a representation of the memories I left with her. Parka continually gave people false hope and used their lives as a stepping stone for her own sake through divine selection. Those memories left within her created a personality that grew sick of those actions. A personality that split off from Parka and remained hidden all this time. We got a third Diana now? This is mere conjecture, but I assume this side of her somehow remained separate, even after Parka regained the memories I had taken. It's the Shadow Parka! It is Persona! Thus the girl you now hold in your arms is an entirely unique existence. But how? I'm surprised you need to ask. It's only natural to wish for one's survival, regardless of what happened before. Diana's attachment to life was so great that it transformed her into Parka upon her death. These black flames represent her mental state. It's her desire to live, the greatest desire of all humanity. Her continued wish for survival never faltered, even knowing what awaited her. Alright, microphone, you need to behave. Alright. There, now you can't move. She's trying to recreate the scenario that led to her to becoming Parka in the first place in order to achieve the same result. Ah, she's trying to re-Parka. She's trying to parallel Parka. It just so happens that the feelings of 11 others have gathered here, too. One of which happens to be the same essence as her own to boot. Wow, unbelievable. To think she was this attracted to her own survival. Simply astounding. Leth, do excuse me for that outburst. Things have taken a turn for the worse, though. I'm on the right train of thought, then. This situation is eerily similar to the scene of Diana's death. Diana, calm down! This is not the time to be calm. There's little point to that. Yeah, exactly. Then what should I do? I don't know, honestly. Leth, of all people, says he doesn't know what to do. How am I supposed to figure anything out, then? Is this the time for the miracle? No, I can't give up here. Leth did all he could to help us, to the point that he became nothing but a frail little cat. Besides, he already told me once, I need to handle things on my own now. I need you to take Maharu back to the real world for me. Can you do that? Already been taken care of. Oh, she's gone. Excellent. I was actually starting to worry about her. Maharu's just dying on the platform when we're not paying attention, but okay, she's gone. I glance over to numero 2's platform. Maharu was nowhere to be seen. Alright, that's one thing. Naomi still has a sliver of my power remaining within her, enough to remain connected to this place. Much like how I was able to use my connection to Parker to come here, she must have sensed what was going on and dragged Maharu back to the real world. Oh, so you didn't even do that. Naomi did. My will remains connected to hers, which is what made that possible. Even as he said this, the panic on his expression remains. Let me be blunt, my existence won't last much longer. As I said, myself and Parker are connected. Her erasure entails my own. This was my true goal all along, and the only means I had of accomplishing it. I apologize for keeping it from you. Why are you telling me this now? My desire to help you was no facade. Secret though my intentions were, I made sure that my actions would never burden you. Don't worry, I trust you. Time isn't on our side. I don't have the ability to help you much more. You can return to the real world while I remain connected to Naomi. This is your only chance to do so. We're not going to try to save her? What will happen to Diana if I do? I can hear her groaning even now. The black flames continue to wash over the court of fate. She will become a goddess once more and seek out 12 people connected through the junction of causality. She will continue to carry out divine selection. Well, we don't want that. Electing her will be impossible, now that the Diana and Parker you know have been erased. Well, we're going to have to find a better solution than that, aren't we? She will exist forever, with survival as her sole purpose. That means one thing. She'll be doomed to suffer forever. I never should have told you. You would have had no issue with returning to the real world. Yeah, you should have lied. Never have I regretted something this much. He probably saw the expression on my face as he explained things. One glance was probably enough for him to understand what I'm thinking after spending so much time with my family. You know me too well, don't you? Sorry, my time seems to be up. Leth's body begins to shine. It's similar to when our cards would light up during an election. Thanks, Leth. If anyone should be expressing their thanks, it's me. There's still... Leth disappears mid-sentence. He's returned to his original fate. Death in much less flowery terms. I'm sure he's happy if he's able to be with Diana, though. I'm willing to bet that was his wish all along. The issue I face now is the Diana before me. Yeah, you don't have the luxury of reminiscing here. There's a... I don't know how much these flames can affect you, but I'm not sure what you can do about them. Are you going to use your wish? The flames continue to spread, dyeing the court of fate jet black. This is a reenactment of Diana's death. Not just the events themselves, but the fear she experienced during it. I take a brief yet definitive look at her. Leth understood my intentions. Yes, my desire to save her. I have an idea about how to do it. Parker herself told me. She holds no resentment toward her mother and Linda for abandoning her. Is it possible for a person to hold no resentment whatsoever, though? Is it possible for someone who's been abandoned to hold zero animosity toward those responsible? It was Diana who split from Parker, not the other way around. Animosity is sure to have built up within her, slow but sure. The cause came down to one thing, her grief and hatred born during her dying moments. In that case, there's one simple way to ensure that this scene ends differently from when she died. Don't worry, I'm right here with you. I just need to stay by her side. I hold her close and offer up a simple prayer. Please save her. Just set her free. Yep, there's the wish. I really hope this doesn't lead to Maharu dying, because we're kind of supposed to be using our wish to prevent that, but oh well. I'm consumed by black flames. Uh-oh. So we're giving our life with hers and hoping the wish comes true. My body is charred. Smolder fills my lungs. They burn away my very existence. That seems like the most accurate description of what's happening to me. I'm being erased in my entirety, not just from the world, but from fate itself. But despite that, my soul refuses to pass on. I persevere with my earnest wish in my heart. Parka's going to come back and take over our body in the real world, and we're going to continue on as the goddess. I joked for that as the sequel, but watch it happen. I wish for the salvation of a girl once abandoned by those she held dear. This is the only way I know how to do things. It's just who I am. And then a voice calls out to me. Oh, hey! So the energy, the souls are still there. Can't say I know much about you, but hey, keep it up. You're doing great. It's a voice I've heard before now that I think about it. Man, what's Ro gonna say? Did I meet this woman at some point? There he is. I must admit, the idea of saving Parka had never occurred to me. Another voice I've heard once before. While we've never had a conversation, our paths crossed here. Standing tall, even within those flames, you really do live up to the name your mother gave you. Now this is a voice I can never forget. My will lived on thanks to you. Well, that's how I choose to see it anyway. I mean, your child got the name you wanted. I don't know what name my son was given in the end, but everything you did helped me to accept my fate. Oh, you still don't know? Well, damn, we got some good news for you. I wanted her to know that her son had been named Haruki, just as she wanted. The thought never turns into words, though, no matter how hard I try. Yeah, Rinka! A cheerful young girl's voice calls my name next. It looks like we're going through them in order. Thank you so very much for making my wish come true. We haven't taken your stuffed animal anywhere yet. Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, that's right. The wish was actually that both Maharu and we survive until the very end. Oh, as soft as ever, I see. The time might come when you regret it, but that certainly isn't now. You might want to try saying something nicer. Next up is that unmistakable duo. Judging by Yu's attitude towards Shigetsugu, they're back to their previous relationship. You accepted me as not just a tool, but as a person. That's why you tried to save me till the very end. You've overcome a lot since then, but I'm glad you haven't changed. You're still the Rinka I knew. You're fibbing if you honestly think she hasn't changed at all. Yeah, you're right. You've learned how to move forward in life no matter what. Their voices suddenly grow distant. What am I hearing now? Oh, what's Scale gonna say? He's gonna be pretty pissed. Diana's attempting to turn into Parka once more. There's no doubt I'll be used as energy to accomplish that. I'll become cinder and disappear from the world with my last moments serving as nothing but fuel. And yet... come on, kid. You ain't gonna kick the bucket after squaring up against me of all people, are ya? Or so I'd like to say, but I guess there ain't no need. You ain't got nowhere close to giving in. Yeah, good. That's what I like to see. Something tells me that I won't disappear, even in these circumstances. I'd say it feels like I'm being shielded with something, but it's more than that. It's almost like I'm recovering from the effects of the fire. I have nothing in my heart for you but hatred. Thanks, Scale. Appreciate it. Just watching you make your stand right now freaks me out. If hearing that bothers you, then you better stick to your guns. There'd be no point in using my life as a stepping stone if you end up just like me in the end. Amazingly enough, even Scale's voice reaches me. Yeah, Scale of all people. I can feel my body return to normal each time this happens. I'm not imagining things. I'm pretty grateful to you, Squirt. You gave me the opportunity to finally come out on top of that asshole. And hey, props for making an impression on Odette. That proves you're stronger than you look. Well, that's enough from me. Tell Maharu I said hey. Thinking of Maharu right to the end. My existence is a fragile one. However, how others perceive me is what's helped to maintain it so far. I lack the means to prove who I am on my own. There may be countless versions of me existing in all the worlds out there, but there may as well not exist without that. In the same vein that possibilities can be nothing but unattainable dreams. Your disposition to help others and never give up borders on ludicrous at this point. I can't say for certain that Amirite would make the same decision as you. There's little else for me to say to you at this point. If anything, though, I'd advise that you prioritize your friends. Everything will be for naught if they lose you, correct? Now that I think about it, yeah. There's bound to be people who can accept their own existence based on my perception of them. That's not a big stretch to believe. Maharu, Naomi, Mao, and even my gran, they all have sides to them that only I know. What would happen if I disappeared? Would they follow suit? Good evening, my dear. Reckless as ever, I see. I must apologize for causing issues at even this stage. Sorry for setting everything on fire. Have you been questioning the nature of those voices you hear? The energy gathered within this space comprises fragments that contain the residual feelings and experiences of those eliminated. The fragments hold no sentience of their own, however. You are aware that one's perception of others is what allows them to exist at all. Thus, your perception of these fragments bestows them with a fleeting sentience. Brief though it may be, you granted it to them in their final moments. But enough with the overly obtuse explanations. In layman's terms, they are all cheering on your efforts to save me. With all the energy gathered here, you should be able to make use of their support. So please, wish for a miracle. I can't do that. I've already made my decision to stay here with her. I can prevent her death from being recreated by doing so. She'll be able to fade away while remaining human if I do that, right? If that's all I need to do to save her, then I'm more than willing. Yes, you are correct. However, my death can no longer be reproduced. You see, one miracle has already taken place. Her voice vanishes when she finishes her sentence. And in its place, my vision returns. I see a girl cowering amidst a sea of flames. A black cat braves the fire and approaches her. Oh, was she saved? Did we change not just fate but history? It reaches its paw out and touches her cheek. Oh, because Leth was able to be there for her when she died, just like I'm being there for her now. Noticing the cat, she raises her head. Her distraught expression melts into a calm smile. And the black flames soon engulf both of them. It's amazing how much of an effect something that insignificant can have. That's all I can think as my consciousness begins to fade once more. Then again, it's not right to call it insignificant. Knowing for sure that you're not alone is a miracle in and of itself. None of us are alone. Although it's not quite that simple. The fact that you're not alone is something, ironically, you must believe all in your own. That's why. I think I'm just talking in circles. There's no point in thinking about it right now. There's only one choice left for me. I want to live. I voice my deepest desire, one that is simple and held by everyone. Achievement unlocked, 12th week. Well, that was an eventful election. Just burned the whole place down. The brilliant summer sunshine burns its way through my curtains. As soon as I wake up, I can tell I'm drenched in sweat. Even the mornings are unbearably hot this time of year. Everyone else should be here in my room. I throw open my window and bask in the sudden influx of fresh air.
Ohayo.
Morning, Ohio. Good morning. Good morning to you both. Sounds like Naomi's back to normal from her stutter. It's classic Naomi. Yes, it's been a while. Good to see you faring better. Thank you. The three of us are able to exchange simple greetings. My eyes drag themselves toward the clock. It's Monday, July 23rd. The day after Divine Selection's final round. We did it. Both Maharu and I were able to survive. My excitement over that is soon interrupted as I take a good look around my room. Yeah, makes sense. We never really expected a big happy ending. Thank you for everything, Leth. I express my thanks to the small corpse curled up on my bed. I'm not quite sure how things ended, but it's certain that this cat's fate is now sealed. After over 100 years of caring for its owner, it was finally able to pass away. Its peaceful expression in death says it all. This is the first death I've witnessed that can't be undone. Now I understand just how determined you were. Maharu drops to her knees in order to pet it. I didn't know that this was his plan. Naomi sits down, tears welling up in her eyes. Soon enough, the tears begin to stream down her face. Do you not remember anything that happened? Wah! You two can head downstairs first. We'll talk about what happened there. I offer up a silent prayer for Leth after they're gone. I cry too. It's been with me ever since I was a kid. The memories flood back, causing my tears to flow. Yeah, we're more attached to this thing than you guys. After my tears run dry, I wrap it up in a blanket. I need to explain things to Maharu and Naomi. Are we going to get any other surprises? Diana's going to show up. I brew some coffee and explain the events that took place in the dream world while we all sip away at our drinks. I still need to use my wish, don't I? Or was it just to live? The discussion isn't a fun one. No one likes talking about goodbyes. I can vaguely remember what happened while Diana was inhabiting my body, but nothing about the events during the 12th election. How do you feel? Are your memories fine? They are, yes. I probably don't know much about the current world state as a result, though. All I remember is the time I spent with you. Sounds fine to me. We're all in the same boat, so we can rely on Mao if anything comes up. How much do you remember, Maharu? Everything till those black flames appeared. It feels weird to say that I blacked out within my own dream, but that's what happened. I was here with you two when I woke up. I see. I'm a bit hazy on what happened at the very end, truth be told. But I'll do my best to recount everything that happened up until this morning. And this began a long, long story. It would have been shorter if I didn't have to struggle with so many fuzzy memories. Not much time has passed, but it's so hard to remember everything, considering just how much had happened. Once done, we make our way to a certain place, as instructed. Is anything going to happen at the park? That is what? That is what? Our final destination. We came here on Saturday as well, but this time it's for a different reason. I made sure to inform my gran about Leth before we leave. That prompts her to say that she'll leave tonight to come home for a bit. Makes sense. She spent even more time with it than me. I'm sure she'll want to say her goodbyes. I've made a place for it to rest using a basket and some blankets. It's a bit simple, but it's the best I can manage for now. Ideally, I would have brought it along with us, but that wouldn't be appropriate. I couldn't stay behind either. We have no choice but to come here today. Was there ever really an explanation as to why that was? The whole Final Destination thing was never given a huge amount of explanation. That's our fate, it seems. I mean, there was that one, we all gathered here by chance thing, but it was just, hey, we all are here at this time, then we go about and whatever. The weather's quite lovely today. She's right. There isn't a cloud in the sky. Oh, yes, there is. Come on, CG guys. You're not doing your job. The sun is as bright as ever, thanks to that. Just keeping my eyes open is a struggle. But I'm fine with that, too. It's kind of like a sign that we've won. I'm not sure how far fate's role extends across the world as a whole, but at the very least we can say we prevailed over the deaths it had planned for us. One could say that our being alive now is fate. I think that feels like a positive spin on things. Yeah. There we go. There's a nice little ending CG. We got one more surprise? Anything else, or is that it? We stand together, surrounded by a sea of green. So many people worked to save me over the course of all this. I never once expected that I would die during it. You died at least twice. You're the same as us, then. We must live with the memories of our own deaths. That's rather frightening. Ha ha ha. Doesn't matter now. It's all in the past. What does matter, though, is that I get an answer from Rinka. I extend one hand in front of me, reaching nowhere in particular. There's no deep meaning to it. It's just a simple gesture. A number of people have entrusted their feelings and desires to me. More than I ever could have anticipated. I'm here right now, and it's all thanks to them. Thank you. The only thing that lay beyond me are the sun and blue sky. If anything, this all feels a bit underwhelming, as the ultimate reward for living through those 12 turbulent weeks. But I don't mind. So who's up for taking a look around since we're here? Me! Yes, that sounds nice. I'll gladly accept whatever's in store for me in its place. Is that it? The credits? Well, here we go again. That is the final ending, and I guess it is the true ending. We got the true ending last, which works just fine for me. I hope you enjoyed this extra long, but I have a feeling there's going to be a little bit more after this. I'm not sure if this is the song we heard before. Is it different each time, or is there a good version and a bad version? Neighborhood housewife. That's the one we were gossiping with. Outside Shigetsugu's place. Well, there's going to be a little bit of editing for this one, but that is going to be a very long episode, and I feel like it's an appropriate send-off. I'll probably go and finish up all the achievements on my own, because there's ones for just blowing through and picking every option, and I imagine most of the ones that we went through that didn't lead to an ending are just superfluous, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm not sure what other ones are. There's one for getting all the endings and all the CGs. There's still one for giving an answer, which makes me wonder if I've still got something to do to respond to Maharu, which would make sense because we haven't given her an answer yet. So is that what's going to come up after this? I might as well give some final thoughts here. I was a little concerned about the direction once it was... Okay, hey, I'm not sure what happened there. For some reason, everything just died. Like, everything USB related just died. I'm not sure if my controller died, but my microphone died and my camera hooked up to my model died. I don't know if anything else died. But that was weird. I'm glad it happened during the credits. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter when it happens because it's a friggin' visual novel and I can just stop and continue. But the edits, I mean, the credits have run. Oh, look at that. I can actually rewind to the credits. I just hit left trigger and all of a sudden it was before the credits again. All right, we're back here. It's finally time, baby. It's finally time, but this time again, Mao's the first to show up. We're smack dab in the middle of summer vacation. We've made plans to go see the fireworks display. Sure is hard to plan things out when you're busy with the store. Maharu's busy with work, and Naomi's busy with cram school. This might just be the first time we've all gotten together since your birthday. Huh, I think you're right. The last time we were all together was July 27th. I'd completely forgotten about my own birthday, so I opened the store like it was any other day. The three of them came around as a surprise once I closed up. Funnily enough, Mao was convinced that I would forget. Maharu made dinner for us, and Naomi brought a cake she baked at home. Maharu was worried because she didn't know what kind of food I liked best, causing her to make a number of Italian dishes. I never really brought up my favorite foods now that I think about it. The puttanesca she made was good though, nice and red. Naomi, remembering that I'm not too big on sweets, made a chiffon cake. It was decorated with cream, but one that wasn't too sweet. Gotta say, it was some impressive work. The flavor was tea-based, which led me to think she may have been influenced by Diana somewhat. Well, maybe I'm just overthinking things. What's more, all three of them got me individual presents as well. Maharu gave me a rich bouquet of red flowers. Red's my favorite color, so the store felt even more Rinka-esque after putting them in a vase and using it as part of the decor. Naomi got me a book, a hardcover version of a foreign novel that Naomi loved. While simple to read, it also posed some philosophical questions. It even had a nice cover illustration. Did you like it? Mal gave me an assortment of hand lotions and stuff. I spend a lot of time washing tableware here, so it's perfect for keeping my hands nice and smooth. She even made sure to pick out scentless ones so they wouldn't stink up the store. Seeing how much thought they put into their gifts made me happy. My gran even gave me a call that night, so suffice it to say it was a great day. Oh yeah, and Aaron said she's going to borrow a yukata from home, so she'll meet us there. Oh, we get new outfits again. That means we were just waiting on one more. Sorry for the wait, you two. My hero appears 10 minutes after Mao. Any idea when Naomi will arrive? Oh, we're just going to meet her there. So, what order should we do this in? We all agreed to wear yukata. If there's one appropriate time to wear them, it's during the fireworks display. I'm borrowing one of my grand's old ones, while Maharu and Mao got theirs from a place Maharu knows. And on the cheap, thanks to an acquaintance of hers from work. You should change first, Rinka, then you can come and help us pick ours out. A solid plan. Might be a bit annoying to walk around in, but hey, take one for the team. Okay. Mind coming to my room to help me put it on, Maharu? Why, no, not at all. They apparently had a yukata uniform day or something at her work, so she claims to have gotten used to helping others put them on. You come too, Mao. You have the crucial task of getting some pictures of her while she's fully dressed. Huh? Me too? Rare for you to say that. I was going to say, I still haven't given Maharu my response to her confession. We still need to get the, answer. She hasn't rushed me for one. But sometimes she does shoot me with puppy dog eyes. I mean, it is after all this is said and done. Now's the time. I think I'm pretty sure about my answer, though. All that's left is to find both the right timing and the courage to overcome the slight awkwardness of bringing it up. Is there going to be a choice? Funny how I don't have the courage to respond to one single confession after everything I've gone through during Divine Selection. I just chuckle at myself as we make our way up to my room. I kind of figured this would happen up here, but I guess Mao's coming with us. So, we're cutting right to this. Hey, look at him! Wow! Sugoi! Amazing! It's so pretty. Yeah, I was entranced for a moment there. I'm glad we came. Look at them kind of dressed up here. Naomi's wearing her nice green, which is her usual color. Mao is just wearing what looks like a bathrobe. Rinkus is nice. It suits her. Did we get sprites? The display is packed as expected. We aren't able to find a spot to sit and watch because we start looking too late in the evening, but we do find a place with a decent view. You'd think we would be the only ones there since it's a bit out of the way, but nope, plenty of others have flocked to the same area. The display itself is enough to make us forget about everyone around us, though. I've been looking forward to this. It hasn't been on my mind every day or anything, but the realization that I've made it to this day has left me speechless. We probably could have sat down somewhere if Maharu didn't take forever picking out her yukata. Wait just a minute. Don't throw accusations at me when you took even longer. Sorry, my short-term memory loss is at it again. I don't think I've ever been out and about in a yukata since elementary school. I remember not being too fond of the idea back then, which led to me being forced into it. Then again, I might have thought they looked pretty back then too. How far in are we? Mao's yukata has a pretty flashy design, the kind you'd expect for people our age. Only about halfway. I'm sure they're getting the rest ready right now. The next batch should be even more amazing than the last. Meanwhile, Naomi looks more mature than usual. I think it's because she borrowed her mom's yukata, which has that adult charm to it. I figured she'd trip at some point and break the illusion, but miraculously enough, that's yet to happen. My little girl's come so far, is what I'd like to say if I was her mom. Apparently they used around 15,000 fireworks in this display, so that means we've already seen 7,500. How about it, Mao? Up for counting them all to see if I'm right? Maharu's yukata has a nice harmony between color and design. It goes well with her usual looks, making her seem a lot older than she is. Most people would be surprised to hear that we're the same age. Ah, but you're not. Has that come up? I feel like that's come up. Pass. Maybe next year. Heh, yeah, next year. Maybe that's why her rare smile every now and then makes her look younger. We'll definitely come back. But won't you have entrance exams to worry about? Ain't a problem. We'll have the time to come up if we keep our heads in the books. Yeah! Agreed. I'll start thinking about that once our summer holiday is over, so please, spare me. Ha ha. Naomi lets out a forced laugh. And then the crowd around us starts to get noisy again. The second half's probably about to start. Whoa! Amazing! The second half manages to be even flashier than the first. The display doesn't let us look away for even a moment. You fall over? Oh boy. I hear Naomi and Mao's utterance between the pop of fireworks. It's then that I notice that they are trying to distance themselves from us. Uh-oh. Mao's face contorts into an undescribable expression when I make eye contact with her, but then she sticks her tongue out at me. You can't fool me, kid. I know exactly what you're trying to do. Oh, man. I couldn't even create the ideal scenario without Mao's aid. I look up to Maharu while still feeling sorry for myself. She's definitely noticed them sneaking off, too, but her eyes are glued to the trail of smoke left by the fireworks. Most of the time, that is. She sneaks in a quick glance at me every now and then, her face beet red. She's far more aware of these sorts of things than I am. It's no secret that she knows what's going on. I turn my head away for a moment out of embarrassment. I see Mao and Naomi come into view, and I do. They make no effort to remain hidden. They're practically biting their nails, so for crying out loud. I mean, I feel like we have to say, like, yes, it didn't just give us a better response as far as our path, it did give us a better response as far as kind of just what I was looking for, as far as, you know, what was intended, as far as the end result. Like, we didn't, you know, we're not getting married here. We're just saying, hey, let's, you know, I'm willing to try this. I inhale as I try to organize my thoughts. Maharu already took the plunge back when she confessed, so now it's my turn. Do I get the choice, or is the game just going to do it? Maharu? I turn to face her and then call out her name. Achievement unlocked! Colors! I got all the CGs, I think. Let me double check. Yep, that's what that means. All the CGs have been unlocked. That's it. You've seen all the pretty art. You can turn off the video now. She turns to answer, although it's obvious she's trying to act oblivious. There's no doubt in my mind about it anymore. I love you too, Maharu. The loudest firework of the night just has to go off at that moment. I know. And achievement unlocked, answer. I know. Okay, thanks, Han Solo. Maybe this is down to fate as well. Oh, there it is. There's the future ending. All right. And there we bop. Am I still missing anything of real meaning? Oh, wow, that's it. Okay, so I have every achievement except for the one for selecting every choice at least once, which is probably going to be fairly inconsequential. But we do have all our CGs now. Aww. Rika looks so adorable there, to be perfectly honest. And we see a lot more CGs as a result of the true ending, including a dead Leth. But that was it. That was Fatal 12. That was an interesting run. We had some hardware failures, some interesting twists. I'm pretty satisfied with how that turned out. It fudged a lot of things, I feel like. It's just playing the whole, oh, this is beyond your human comprehension sort of thing, and I don't know. I wasn't on board with some of the explanations Leth gave and stuff, or anything like that, or things were just kind of, well, hope for the best sort of thing, like when we wished to save Diana or whatever. Is divine selection going to continue? We have frankly no idea, but I feel like that's a suitable ending. In any case, we be done. Can't wait to edit this monstrosity, but thank you so much for watching. If you stuck through it to the end, man, thank you so much for hanging out. That was quite the ride. This is the biggest Let's Play story-wise I've done since the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which, to be fair, was much longer than this, but I also did it in much longer spurts, you know, multi-hour streams and things, whereas this is chopped up much more, not to mention it's not even streamed. These are all videos that are edited and stuff, whereas the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles were live. But in the meantime, I don't know what I'm going to do after this. I'm recording this video about 2 months before you're actually seeing it. What comes after? Who the hell knows? But, you know what? Hopefully by this point you've connected with me on Twitter and Twitch, or left a comment to let me know what you think, and maybe let me know what you'd like to see me be doing besides. Anyway, I'm going to wrap things up. That was quite the story. I'm glad I played it. Overall, I definitely give it a thumbs up. Not quite as good as some of the other visual novels I've played, but it's up there. It's definitely up there. Anyway, I need to go and do something other than be on my computer because, my God, I've been recording this for over 3 hours. Thank you again so much for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next one.